This page is the dynamic cover of Beep MegaDrive magazine from March 1990, highlighting a massive 16-page feature dedicated to mastering the classic RPG, Sorcerian. The cover art itself is vibrant and quirky, featuring a character piloting a patchwork plane through a cartoonish landscape, reflecting the playful nature of the magazine. Besides the Sorcerian deep dive, which includes a giveaway, the issue also features a serious discussion among industry leaders about the Mega Drive's impact on the game world. There's also a large-scale reader quiz with prizes. Hints of other content include features on New Zealand story and the latter part of the heavy metal lays coverage. It's a packed issue covering both in-depth game strategy and broader industry topics. This page opens the deep dive into the classic action RPG Sorcerian. Dominating the layout is a striking illustration of a terrifying red monster, setting a dramatic tones. Above it, bold Japanese text declares, "A masterpiece has arrived," signaling the game's significance. The page highlights the game's strengths, mentioning the power of the Mega Drive enhancing the fantastic action RPG, beautiful backgrounds, the flow of time around the characters, and the lively background sound. It describes Sorcerian as a long story of a journey into an unseen world. Two small screenshots showcase the game's signature side-scrolling perspective and character stat display, giving a glimpse of the dungeon crawling and exploration gameplay. The release date of February 24th is prominently displayed. This page serves as an exciting announcement and initial praise for the highly anticipated Sorcerian release on the Mega Drive. This page features a large, striking illustration of a powerful warrior character, likely a hero from Sorcerian, heavily armored with a shield and sword, set against a sepia-toned background. The prominent title Sorcerian dominates the lower left of the page. Text above the title suggests the game is here now, holding many secrets or topics of interest, reinforcing its anticipated arrival. Below the title, details specify this is the Mega Drive version, including copyright information from Nihon Falcom and Sega, the standard retail price of 7,000 yen, and confirmation of a backup function, crucial for saving progress in this type of RPG. A small box on the right highlights the Sega Mega Drive itself, boasting its 16-bit power and showing the console and controller, noting its standard retail price of 21,000 yen, along with contact information for Sega Enterprises. This page effectively combines evocative artwork with key details about the game's release and features on the Mega Drive. The Falcom Festival 90, a fan event held on March 26, 1990, at Lumine Hall Act in Tokyo, promised an exciting experience for Falcom enthusiasts. The event featured the Miss Lisha Grand Prix, a JDK band live performance, a game tournament with prizes, and YS OVA anime screening, and a Falcom Bazaar with merchandise and game demos, including the Mega Drive Sorcerian and PC Engine YSIN2. Sponsored by industry giants like King Records, Hudson Soft, and Sega, the festival was accessible via a lottery ticket system. This gathering celebrated Falcom's games and music, offering a memorable experience for fans through community engagement and diverse attractions. This page serves as an announcement for the Miss Lilia Grand Prix, tying into the Falcom Festival 90 previously mentioned. The main image shows a serene scene of a field of dandelions with a yellow chair and a straw hat, questioning, "Where is Lilia?" Below this, a large heading declares the Miss Lilia Grand Prix recruitment, stating that your Lilia is debuting from King Records. An illustration of the character Lilia from the YS series is featured, confirming the contest is based on her. The recruitment section details the requirements. Healthy women aged 14 to 19 can apply by sending a resume and photos to King Records. The selection process involves document screening, and winners will be contacted directly. Prizes are substantial, including a record debut and 500,000 yen for the Grand Prix winner, and PC Engine plus Quadrum Squared consoles and cash prizes for other winners and recommendees. The deadline for applications is February 28, 1990. Additionally, the page features an urgent announcement for the Falcom Special Box 89, a 6-disc mini-album CD set featuring various music styles like fusion, symphony, and vocal tracks. This set was released on February 21st, driven by fan demand. The page acts as a dual announcement, promoting both a fan-focused contest and a new music product from Falcom. This page announces the upcoming release of Atomic RoboKid on the Sega Mega Drive. The main focus is a large image of the game's robot character, looking distressed and holding a sign apologizing for the game's delay, explaining it was to ensure a higher quality product. It confirms the game is finally completed and scheduled for a May release, asking fans and partners for just a little more patience. The page highlights the game as a significant upgrade from the popular arcade version, featuring exhilarating action that combines maze exploration and shooting gameplay. It promises beautiful graphics and a diverse cast of characters. 3 screenshots showcase the game's visuals, including a large boss battle, a complex interior level, and an outdoor jungle-like environment, illustrating the variety mentioned. The provisional price is listed as 6,800 yen, excluding tax. The game is published by Treco and is an officially licensed Mega Drive title from Sega. This page showcases Air Diver, an upcoming 3D shooting game exclusively for the Mega Drive. The main visual features a detailed pixel art cockpit or futuristic structure surrounded by wireframe fighter jets, highlighting the aerial combat theme. The game promises intense 3D dogfights with non-stop Vulcan cannon fire, missile lock-ons, afterburners, and dynamic encounters with advanced enemy aircraft. Players will need to master the controls, as battles are described as frantic. Screenshots show a realistic cockpit view with various indicators like sight, lock-on alarm, radar, missile display, fuel, and engine status, emphasizing the immersive experience. The page also includes a map for selecting battle areas across the world, and a detailed diagram of the F-119 stealth aircraft with its specifications. Air Diver is scheduled for release in March at a price of 6,800 yen. Published by Asmik. This page features 2 distinct game announcements. At the top is Target Earth, known in Japan as Assault Suit Lanos. This action shooting game puts you in the cockpit of a powerful mecha defending Jupiter's moon Ganymede against an unknown alien force. The text highlights multi-directional scrolling battles, impressive graphics, and exciting BGM. The game features 8 scenarios, including intense atmospheric entry and space colony stages, along with abundant weapon power-ups. Target Earth was scheduled for release on March 16th. Below, the page announces Sokoban, a classic puzzle game making its way to the Mega Drive. Described as the largest ever, this version boasts upgraded graphics and sound compared to previous iterations. Players can tackle a massive 250 stages spread across 10 different phases or sections. Features include an edit mode to design your own warehouses, a trace mode to review your steps, and a password system to continue from any stage. Sokoban was already available for purchase at the time of this publication. This page presents 2 announcements for upcoming publications from SoftBank MOOC. The top section is SoftBank MOOC Volume 1, titled Game Boy Life. It's a comprehensive guide covering all 51 Game Boy games released up to that point, and features various articles, including a hot-blooded Game Boy declaration, a shopping derby, a hyper-intelligent course, a large survey of 38 third-party companies, and a special interview with Nintendo discussing the Game Boy's development secrets. The page includes a playful cartoon illustration depicting characters and Game Boy devices. This volume is priced at 480 yen. Below it is SoftBank MOOC Volume 2, announced as RPG Magazine, scheduled for release in late February. This is Japan's first genre-specific game magazine dedicated to computer RPGs. It promises to pack the latest RPG releases for multiple platforms, including the Mega Drive, Famicom, PC Engine, and PC, into one book. The magazine will also feature extensive content on RPG game history, a fantasy dictionary, and various reading materials. The tentative price is 490 yen. This page is the table of contents for the March 1990 issue of Beep Mega Drive magazine. At the top, alongside the title and date, are images featuring a Neo Geo console and joystick, and a dynamic screenshot from a game that appears to be Afterburner 2. The main contents list kicks off on page 14 with New Game Scramble, highlighting the latest releases like Thunder Force 2i, Insector X, Final Blow, Phantasy Star IV, Generations of Doom, Phelios, Super Monaco GP DJ Boy, Patlabor, and SWAT. City Under Siege, described as the hot menu of new titles. Following on page 20 is the B Mega Hot menu, featuring in-depth looks at talked-about games including Afterburner 2, Ghostbusters, and Air Diver. The section New Game Thoroughmaster, starting on page 28, provides detailed coverage of specific games such as Target Earth, Assault Suits Lanos in Japan, Telephone Stadium, Sorcerian, and the New Zealand story, spread across multiple pages. Finally, a significant special feature begins on page 32, posing the question, can the Mega Drive save the game world? Exploring the current state of the industry through the eyes of third-party developers, retailers, and magazine companies. This page serves as a visually engaging highlights reel for the issue, showcasing some of the key features alongside screenshots from exciting Mega Drive titles. At the top you see gameplay images from Ghostbusters, a puzzle platformer, and what appears to be the intense organic shooter Biohazard battle. The major articles are prominently displayed, including a Super Ultra Mega Drive quiz on page 36, a report from SIS90 on page 12 covering the latest industry happenings, and a continuing series, Making of Yusei OU, Fairy King, on page 52, delving into the development process. Below these features is a list of columns and articles starting from page 10, covering diverse topics such as BeepMD News, various industry columns including one from Jun Miura, Tech Trends, Game Industry Analysis, a Sound Club feature, an RPG journey, information on new software releases, and more. This page provides a quick overview of the magazine's diverse content, teasing readers with glimpses of games and features inside. This page is part of the BeepMD News section, presenting exciting entertainment news beyond just video games. The main feature highlights Space World, a vast amusement park designed to simulate space experiences. The article explains that this park, located in Fukuoka and opening in April, is spearheaded by Junior Kyushu and aims to expand the world of games by offering realistic space life training, centering around a space camp for aspiring 21st century space travelers. The park boasts attractions like Planet Cruise, Black Hole Scramble, a space dome for simulated experiences, and a cosmic eye tracing the history of space travel. A key highlight mentioned is the training equipment, including a NASA-based multi-axis trainer that spins riders in multiple directions to simulate space conditions. The page features illustrations showcasing the park's layout and specific attractions like the Luna Express and the shuttle ride, emphasizing the excitement of this new space-themed entertainment complex. The overall tone is enthusiastic, proclaiming this as the full picture of Space World. This page continues the look at Space World, detailing more attractions like the Galaxy Theater, Cosmedia Jupiter, Space Camp Training, Big Bang Plaza, Discovery Square, Milky Way, and Space Balloon. It also describes the space camp itself, primarily a training course for teenagers and students, with main courses lasting 3 nights and 4 days, and shorter 1-night, 2-day options available. Below that, there's a massive announcement. The arrival of the Neo Geo system. Touted as a new game machine of the 90s, this arcade-based system, introduced by SNK on January 31st, is causing a stir. The article highlights its powerful hardware, including a Motorola 68000 CPU, like the Mega Drive but faster, and AZ80, impressive sound capabilities with FM, PSG, and PCM channels, and the ability to display 4096 colors simultaneously from a palette of 65,536. The unique multi-video system, MVS, setup allows arcades to swap between multiple games easily. For home users, the system will initially be available through rental shops, using memory cards that allow data transfer between the arcade and home versions. The page shows screenshots of early titles, like Magician Lord, the shooter Nam 1975, the sports title Baseball Stars Professional, and Top Players Golf. The reviewer expresses excitement about the possibility of experiencing arcade-quality games at home, asking if players can wait until the March release. This page presents a report from the 1990 International Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, held from January 6th to 9th. The main focus is the excitement surrounding the Sega Genesis in America. A key highlight was the Genesis version of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, an action game based on his music, featuring his hit songs and rhythm mechanics. The reviewer notes the impressive demo player, who fully embodies Michael Jackson. The show floor plan for the West Hall is included, pinpointing the booth locations of major players like Sega, Nintendo, Taito, and Konami. Beyond Sega, other developers like Electronic Arts and Activision had a strong presence, and popular Japanese titles such as Technosoft's Thunder Force 2 also drew significant attention. The report mentions other notable items like the impact of Golden Axe demos, the Phantasy Star II representative, the continued popularity of the Master System and Game Boy in America, and NES TurboGrafx 16 attracting dedicated fans. Overall, the show suggested a second game boom was arriving in America, with new software not just for Genesis, but also NES and TurboGrafx 16, widely displayed. The page features pixelated artwork inspired by Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. This page continues the report from the 1990 Consumer Electronics Show, offering a visual tour of the event through a collection of photos. The atmosphere of the show is captured with images of booth setups and attendees. Highlights include displays for popular games like Golden Axe, complete with a fearsome dragon prop, and a cosplayer embodying a barbarian hero. The Phantasy Star II booth is shown, along with a representative in costume. The Sega presence is prominent, featuring the Michael Jackson's Moonwalker booth with a convincing look-alike, showcasing the game's unique blend of action and rhythm, further illustrated by detailed pixel art and a screenshot from the game. Other key companies featured are Technosoft, likely displaying their hits like Thunder Force, Electronic Arts showing Abrams' Battle Tank, Nintendo with massive signage for Super Mario Bros. 3, Game Boy, and Tetris, and Taito demonstrating their lineup on multiple screens. The images collectively reinforce the sense of excitement and the wide variety of hardware and software on display, confirming the intense competition and innovation driving the second game boom discussed previously. This page features a new release scramble, offering a look at upcoming software. The main highlight is the highly anticipated horizontal shooter, Thunder Force 2 Eyes, described as a masterpiece. The article details its improvements over Thunder Force 2 MD, featuring redesigned side-scrolling stages, enhanced graphics, diverse scrolling patterns, new weapons and items like speed up and slowdown, and all new music. Screenshots showcase the unique stage select screen, a mechanical level, an organic level, and a boss battle, demonstrating the game's detailed visuals. Other games briefly listed include Insector X, Final Blow, Phantasy Star II, Phelios, Super Monaco GP, DJ Boy, Patlabor, and SWAT. Overall, the page emphasizes the excitement for Technosoft's latest entry and previews other diverse titles on the horizon. This page continues the new release scramble, showcasing upcoming Mega Drive titles. Featured prominently are Insector X and Final Blow, both previously listed on the preceding page. First up is Hot Bee's Insector X, a horizontal scrolling shooter based on the Taito arcade game, but with visuals updated from a comical style to a more realistic one. You play as a small human battling giant insect mechs across 5 diverse stages, including deserts and cities. The game features special weapons for both air and ground targets, alongside power-ups for your normal shot. Screenshots show gameplay and an impressive, detailed boss design that the reviewer highlights positively. Following that is Taito's Final Blow, an arcade boxing game port, and their second title for the Mega Drive. The development is noted as progressing well. You select one of 5 distinct heavyweight boxers and compete to become champion. The gameplay uses a side view of the ring, with realistic animations for various boxing moves, including special finishing blows. Screenshots display the character selection screen, featuring boxers like Kim Nang and Dynamite Joe, and the in-ring action, which the reviewer praises for its detail and realism. Phantasy Star II, Generations of Doom, a Mega Drive RPG, is slated for an April release. This super masterpiece promises to surpass previous games, showcasing a multi-generational story with branching paths and multiple endings influenced by player choices. A unique party system introduces trust levels, affecting combat behavior based on relationships. The game emphasizes dynamic sound design, adapting music to the party's status. Furthermore, it will feature a deeper story connection to the original Phantasy Star games, expanding the narrative with land, sea, and air vehicles. Screenshots reveal a medieval-inspired town, a castle interior, and a field area, hinting at a distinct atmosphere compared to its predecessors. This page delves further into the world of Phantasy Star II, Generations of Doom, providing background lore titled The Battle of Laia and Orakio. It recounts a high-tech civilization thousands of years ago, the emergence of Laia with the power to create monsters, the resulting conflict with Orakio and his robot army, and the devastating consequences that led to a regression to a medieval state. The story then introduces the protagonist of the game as a descendant of Orakio, setting the stage for the game's plot. An illustration of several characters from the game is featured alongside the text. Below that, the page previews Phelios, an upcoming release from Namco for the Mega Drive. Titled Ride Pegasus, Rescue Artemis, It's described as a port of the arcade game where players must rescue the goddess Artemis. The article notes that the core game content, story, systems, and areas are similar to the arcade version, and even includes original enemy characters. However, it highlights the technical challenge of replicating the arcade's graphics effects on the Mega Drive hardware, stating, "A perfect port is difficult, but Namco is still working hard." A notable feature mentioned is the inclusion of voice acting, specifically Artemis's voice, which was a topic of discussion in the arcade version. Screenshots showcase gameplay, including boss encounters like Medusa. The release is anticipated around the rainy season. This page covers upcoming Mega Drive releases. First up is Super Monaco GP, a popular arcade racing game being ported to the Mega Drive. The article highlights the beautiful graphics, noting it's a faithful port of the arcade game with its simulated courses and choice of 3 cars, but will also include an original mode like Super Hangin'. The reviewer discusses the game's unique wing shift control and expresses a strong desire for a dedicated handle controller to be sold separately, suggesting it's essential for the full experience. They acknowledge the difficulty of creating such a controller, but propose a limited mail-order run. Screenshots show the title screen, transmission select, and an F1 car. Below that is DJ Boy, another arcade game coming to the Mega Drive. Described as a street fighting game with comical and dynamic characters, the player controls a boy named Pop fighting delinquents. The game's key actions are punch, kick, and jump. A notable feature from the arcade version is the voice synthesis, and the article expresses hope that the voice of Demon Kogure will be included in the Mega Drive port. At the time of reporting, the game was 30% complete, indicating the release is still some time away. The article looks forward to the developer Kaneko's work on the port. Screenshots display the side-scrolling gameplay and the American-themed title screen. This page features 2 upcoming Mega Drive titles, starting with SWAT, an action game based on the popular Sega arcade machine. Scheduled for a May release, the article notes the arcade version's unique progression from rookie cop to the powerful ice suit-wearing special officer, a concept the reviewer found novel and hopes is retained in the Mega Drive port. While the genre is listed as ACT, there's speculation the Mega Drive version might differ from the arcade original, using it more as a theme. Screenshots show the arcade gameplay and the Mega Drive title screen, which is described as having an anime-like feel. Below is Mobile Police Patlabor, an adventure game set for an April release. Following highly anticipated titles like Phantasy Star IV and Sorcerian, Patlabor is an ADV utilizing a command selection system to retell the original story. The article praises its graphics, direction, and sound as being beyond previous home console standards, aiming to pull players into the anime's world. There's anticipation for features like animated screens, full voice acting, and detailed scenarios. Screenshots display command selection menus, character interactions, and the game's title screen, which the reviewer finds cool and suggests the opening feels like a movie trailer. This page features Afterburner 2, presented as part of a Mega Hot menu, highlighting recent releases. This is the highly anticipated Mega Drive port of the classic Sega arcade title, brought to the console by Denpa Shimbuncha and released on March 20th. The article expresses strong praise for the port, stating it successfully captures the exhilarating feel of the arcade game and brings that intensity to home TVs. It's highlighted as a prime example of the Mega Drive's capabilities, faithfully reproducing the arcade experience, thanks to the developer's technical prowess. The reviewer is particularly impressed with the quality, giving it a double circle rating. For newcomers, the page briefly outlines the game's setting, a Cold War scenario in the late 20th century where you play a pilot on a top-secret mission. The core gameplay is described as a fast-paced 3D shooting game where you fly a jet, engaging enemy aircraft with your Vulcan cannon and missiles. Speed is noted as a key characteristic. Screenshots showcase various aspects, including the dynamic title screen variants, gameplay action, and menu options. A demonstration corner specifically points out the game's speed and recommends checking out the demo version. This page continues the focus on Afterburner 2, delving deeper into the quality of the Mega Drive port and the reasons behind its success. The article highlights the impressive recreation of the game's speed and intense sound effects, noting the effective use of PCM audio, including sampled guitar, which adds to the exhilarating atmosphere. The reviewer is particularly impressed that the Mega Drive manages to play multiple PCM sounds simultaneously, enhancing the arcade feel. While acknowledging potential graphical compromises compared to the arcade, the text justifies these as necessary trade-offs to preserve the crucial speed and visual quality that define the game. The port is praised for successfully capturing the essence of the original. The article also touches upon the game's accessibility, featuring simple controls using just the standard pad, unlike complex flight simulators. Screenshots show various gameplay moments, the options menu, and the iconic Sega Enterprise aircraft carrier. The page reinforces the idea that this port is a testament to the developer's skill and the Mega Drive's capabilities. This page continues the discussion on Afterburner 2, focusing on gameplay mechanics like rolling to dodge attacks, which is effective against enemies attacking from behind. The article explains how rolling works by quickly tapping the direction button. It also details the control scheme, noting the Mega Drive version simplifies the 4 arcade controls down to 3, primarily focusing on the Vulcan cannon and missiles. While the Mega Drive version defaults the Vulcan to auto-fire, the text mentions options to allow manual firing for those who prefer it, although this might slightly reduce speed. The method for changing speed is also discussed, contrasting the arcade lever push/pull with the Mega Drive system, where double-tapping the speed-up button increases speed. The piece then elaborates on weaponry, focusing on the Vulcan cannon and missiles. The Vulcan is deemed less useful due to its short range compared to enemy missile attacks, emphasizing the need to shoot before getting hit. The missile system is highlighted as the primary weapon, featuring an autolock function that, once the target is acquired, results in a fire voice prompt and the missile pursuing the enemy. Screenshots depict various stages, dogfights, enemy missile attacks, and the crucial aircraft carrier reload sequence, reinforcing the focus on combat and resupply. Afterburner 2 features auto-tracking missiles, but their limited quantity necessitates strategic use and reliance on the weaker Vulcan cannon. Refills are available via aerial tankers after clearing stages. The Mega Drive version is compared to the X68000 release. While the latter offered joystick control, the Mega Drive boasts superior graphics, especially in bonus stages. However, it lacks the runway landing scene. A new analog joystick, the XE1AP, designed specifically for the Mega Drive version, is introduced. This controller combines digital and analog input for more precise control, featuring rapid-fire settings and ergonomic design. The XE1AP is deemed essential for the best Afterburner 2 experience and is scheduled for release on March 20th. Screenshots showcase gameplay elements. This page features the upcoming Sega Mega Drive release of Ghostbusters, scheduled for April at a price of 6,000 yen. Arriving while Ghostbusters 2 is popular in Japan, this action game puts players in the role of one of the 3 Ghostbusters to clear New York of specters. The game structure involves responding to incidents. After selecting a character, you head to the scene, often a haunted building, where you'll battle various ghosts and seek out a hidden boss. You'll encounter mini-bosses who must be defeated quickly with rapid fire before attempting capture. Successful capture earns money, which is vital for buying upgraded weapons and items from the shop to prepare for future calls. The first 4 stages can be tackled in any order before advancing. Stage 1 features the formidable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man as its boss, noted for his immense size. Screenshots highlight detailed graphics in different areas, like a frozen warehouse, poltergeist attacks, and gameplay elements such as riding moving furniture, an in-game map, and the ghost capture mechanic. This page continues the deep dive into the Sega Mega Drive's Ghostbusters, highlighting the impressive variety and design of the spectral enemies. The article notes that the game potentially features more ghosts than the movies, praising their Americanized designs which perfectly match the game's atmosphere. You'll encounter everything from standard specters to unique mid-bosses and imposing bosses, each with distinct and often comical attack patterns. Screenshots show off some of these foes, including a strange feather-shedding ghost and a snowman who spawns flying children. Beyond the ghosts, the article touches on the player characters themselves, the 3 Ghostbusters. While they couldn't be fully introduced this month, the reviewer notes their expressive faces in demos and openings, and how their in-game, super-deformed versions still capture their likeness as well, promising satisfaction for fans. The excitement builds, with a mention of the unforgettable scene featuring the colossal Stay Puft Marshmallow Man hanging from a building window. Basic gameplay is confirmed as simple and intuitive, centered around shooting and jumping, as demonstrated in the combat screenshots. The page concludes with a brief segment, covering unrelated rumors and news about other games like Chase HQ on the Master System, and various demo programs, before promising more detailed Ghostbusters coverage in the next issue. This page dives into the high-flying world of Air Diver, an upcoming real-time shoot-'em-up from ASMIC, set for release on March 9th at 6,800 yen. Touted as a game aiming for ultimate realism, it's presented as the ultimate man's game for those who love fighter jets and cyber warfare. You pilot the super cool F-119 stealth fighter with the objective of crushing terrorist forces bent on global domination, though these terrorists possess military might surpassing even major world powers, so don't underestimate them. Despite featuring a cutting-edge aircraft, the controls are highlighted as incredibly easy, allowing free movement with the directional pad and performing maneuvers like rolls and turns by combining with the ESC button, described as feeling like a jet coaster. Offensively, you have two options: an unlimited Vulcan cannon and auto-tracking missiles that lock onto targets. Be warned, enemies leaving the screen will break the missile lock. Gameplay begins on a world map divided into 8 areas. You select your destination based on enemy data, the carrier transports you, and then you launch directly into combat. The game also features an afterburner for a temporary speed boost, though it consumes fuel. An options screen allows customization of starting lives, difficulty, controller settings, and a sound test. The initial enemies you face are typical fighter jets, and the radar is essential for locating targets. This page continues our look at Air Diver, detailing the intense aerial combat. You'll be switching between your Vulcan cannon and missiles to take down enemies, but watch out for those pesky auto-tracking missiles. You'll need to roll or turn sharply to dodge them. After clearing some regular enemies, a mid-boss appears, a commander-class fighter that uses cunning hit-and-run tactics. Take your time with these guys, as they're tough. Once you defeat the mid-boss, the giant main boss shows up. Unlike other enemies, its missiles fly straight, so manual aiming is key. You'll need to destroy its various weak points to bring it down. Defeating the boss clears the area, and your carrier comes to pick you up for resupply and repairs, with landing handled automatically by the computer. The game really pushes for realism, with detailed carrier launch and landing sequences. And enemies are modeled after actual fighter jets like the Eagle and Harrier, deployed realistically by region. The cockpit is also highlighted for its detailed and functional instruments, emphasizing the need to monitor things like fuel and missile count. Finally, the page introduces spare items, obtained after clearing an area and returning to the carrier. There are 3 types: an automatic repair device that fixes all damage once, reserve missiles that replenish your stock, and reserve fuel that refills your tank. While the carrier decides which one you get, they are always a welcome boost, even topping up items you already possess. This page kicks off a thorough master guide for the hit game Heavy Armed Soldier Lanos, known internationally as Target Earth. It's presented as a development report, and promises to reveal the story elements up to Stage 7. The narrative is broken down into key stages. The first section, Start of War, describes Lanos unit stationed on Jupiter's large moon Ganymede at a resource base. They are suddenly attacked by unidentified heat sources, leading to a direct order to repel the enemy and prevent them from reaching the base. A screenshot shows the initial combat. Next is Escape, detailing the aftermath of the initial attack. While the first wave was beaten back, the base is now completely surrounded. Lanos must fight to open a path. This stage introduces the friendly support mechs called Versat, which, despite their old-fashioned look, are quite powerful and help boost Lanos' score. The clear condition involves defending a shuttle and base workers. Finally, and also tragedy, highlights the harsh realities of war and sacrifice. The end of Stage 3 depicts a tragic moment, where a Lanos unit member left behind fails to reach the shuttle and is consumed by the atmosphere. Dialogue boxes illustrate the desperate situation and the cost of the conflict. The page emphasizes that the counterattack has begun, but not without significant losses. This page continues the comprehensive guide for Target Earth, picking up with the counterattack phase. Stage 4 sees Lanos and the ES unit descending to the enemy's frontline base, targeting their power reactor. The guide notes the intense anti-air fire during the descent and the need for friendly engineer support to breach the base entrance once on the ground. Inside, the objective is the base's core power source. Following the successful assault on the frontline base, Stage 5 involves a surprise attack on a rear base where development is underway. This stage is a defensive mission, requiring players to fend off waves of attackers. A key gameplay tip highlights the importance of finding safe zones to recover life, as even minor damage can be critical in this intense combat. The narrative also hints at mysterious communications received during this stage, adding a layer of intrigue to the mission. This page delves into Stage 6 of Target Earth, the final push against the enemy. It details the completion of the mobile fortress Loyak and the primary objective, crippling the enemy command structure to support Earth's counteroffensive. The first hurdle is destroying a unique enemy barrier ship, described as blocking progress and having unusual attack patterns. After defeating the barrier ship, the path opens to the central base. The journey is long and introduces challenging new enemy types, promising a difficult fight. Upon reaching the base, the entrance is initially blocked, but a poignant final message arrives from a friendly unit, Versat. The defenses of the central base are formidable compared to earlier stages. As Lenos penetrates the base and reaches the core, a conversation with an enemy pilot reveals a startling truth. They are survivors of a past space exploration fleet abandoned by humanity. The page also shows the final boss battle, noting the enemy pilot's desperate escape after being severely damaged. A dedicated section focuses on success points, highlighting the importance of choosing the right weapon from Lenos's abundant arsenal. It advises using shotguns for crowds of weaker enemies and bazookas for strong, fast foes, emphasizing that smart weapon selection based on the enemy type is crucial for success in each stage due to weapon ammo limits and carry capacity. This page details the final stages of Target Earth, starting with Stage 7, where the battle moves into space. The enemy, having lost ground on Earth, is now using a damaged space colony as a base. Lenos is deployed to infiltrate the colony, which is filled with hazards like space mines and strong enemy as units. Inside the colony, the environment shifts to ruined cityscapes where urban combat takes place. The objective is to clear the colony and pursue the enemy battleship retreating into space. The page also includes a success point section, emphasizing the threat posed by common enemy types, small fry, and illustrating several with screenshots, such as the anti-air missile, various smaller ships like the Fly Scudder and Meerdrum, and ground-based units like fixed turrets and the powerful Garsik. Understanding and effectively dealing with these numerous weaker foes is highlighted as crucial for survival. Finally, Stage 8 marks the game's finale. The remaining enemy forces gather at Lagrange Point 4 for one last stand. Earth forces, including Lenos, converge for the decisive battle. Mission. The mission is to infiltrate and destroy the enemy flagship, described as the strongest opponent encountered. Screenshots show Lenos fighting deep within a massive spaceship interior. The text also mentions the return of a previously encountered enemy pilot from Stage 6, indicating a final confrontation with this recurring antagonist. This page features a special report titled, "Can Mega Drive Save the Game World?", which dives into the state of the game industry through a roundtable discussion involving manufacturers, publishers, and retailers. The introduction notes that despite a rush of new releases, including the Mega Drive's surge the previous December, and events like the PC Engine's new models and Game Boy shortages, the industry is generally perceived as lacking energy and facing a severe reality. The hope is expressed that the Mega Drive will perform strongly, and other consoles will also contribute to revitalizing the overall market. The discussion covers the year-end sales period and the contributions of various consoles. It's noted that the NES, Famicom, remains popular due to its large library of software, attracting new hardware buyers. However, those looking for new experiences and tired of the NES are turning to the Mega Drive. The performance of the PC Engine and its variant, the Supergraph, is also discussed, with the Supergraphs noted as drawing attention initially, but not sustaining sales momentum. The Game Boy, however, is highlighted as selling well. One of the participants, Mr. Takahiro Kaneko from Asmic, is featured, expressing relief that his company's game, Asmic World, is performing well. The conversation provides a snapshot of the competitive landscape and the challenges facing the industry in the early 90s, positioning the Mega Drive as a potential driver for growth and a choice for players seeking something beyond the dominant NES. This page continues the discussion about the state of the gaming industry, transitioning into a focus on the Mega Drive and the rise of handheld gaming. The conversation touches on the Mega Drive's sales performance, noted as surprisingly strong, contrary to some expectations. Screenshots prominently feature Golden Axe and Sorcerian, both significant titles for the Mega Drive, suggesting they are discussed as key examples of the console's software library. An illustration depicts an intense gamer, possibly representing the demanding nature of some titles or the player base. The dialogue explores software that drove hardware sales, mentioning Tetris and Super Mario Land, acknowledging the impact of handhelds like the Game Boy. The section titled Handheld Machine Premonition underscores the growing importance of this market segment. An interesting point is made about the difference between Famicom, NES, and Mega Drive users, with the latter described as surprisingly frequent buyers of magazines and books related to games. Specific Mega Drive titles are highlighted, such as Afterburner II, praised for its immersive experience, and Sorcerian, called a big title. The upcoming Phantasy Star II is also mentioned as a focus for the magazine. The page features two participants in the discussion, identified in captions below their photos. Editor-in-Chief Narisawa from Famitsu Strategy Guide HQ and Hideharu Shibata from Famitsu Communication Editorial Department, bringing diverse perspectives to the roundtable. The overall tone reflects an industry navigating a shifting landscape, with Mega Drive and handhelds emerging as significant forces. This page delves into the various issues facing Sega, continuing the discussion with industry insiders. Handhelds are still on the agenda, with mentions of the Game Boy, the PC Engine's HuCard format, and the Atari Lynx, noting the trend towards color screens and backlighting. The main focus shifts to Sega's relationship with third-party developers and the perceived challenges they face compared to platforms like the Famicom or PC Engine. While Sega's system is considered relatively easy for developers to work with, there's discussion about delays between game announcements and releases, possibly due to the initial lack of development tools. Specific arcade ports like Afterburner, shown in a screenshot, and Final Blow are brought up. Koji Hatobe from Taito joins the conversation, highlighting concerns about game sales on different platforms, such as the PC version of Volfeed. The participants also touch on the development process itself, suggesting the Mega Drive might be the easiest console to develop for at the time, while the PC Engine, despite being more challenging, can yield better results. An interesting point is the rapid turnaround time from mastering to release for Crydrom titles, cited as just 2 weeks, although issues with the software are acknowledged, with the future of Crydrom gaming seen as promising. This page continues the discussion with industry figures, including the manager and game sales manager from Ginza Hakuhinken. The conversation touches on Dragon Quest IV and its AI, the pressures faced by developers like Hikaru Nakamura, and some unexpected tangents about adult content in PC Engine mahjong games, and a humorous drawing. The focus then shifts to the console market, with the Mega Drive noted as the strongest seller in terms of hardware that year, outperforming the PC Engine significantly, with the Famicom in between. The speaker expresses support for Sega's determination to forge its own path, particularly in anticipation of the Super Famicom's release, appreciating their unique strategies. The discussion concludes with a thank you and the date. A screenshot of Dragon Quest IV is shown. This page unveils the B Mega Ultra Quiz, a special event promising 300 prizes for dedicated Mega Drive fans. It begins with a series of basic questions, with 8 shown here. These questions challenge your deep knowledge of various Mega Drive titles, covering specifics like identifying monsters in Space Harrier's bonus stages, naming the boss organization in the Super Shinobi, known globally as Shinobi 2i for the Genesis/Mega Drive release featuring these bosses, or even knowing the price of a meal at the Sega staff canteen. Each question is presented with multiple choice options and a relevant screenshot or image from the game, inviting readers to test their skills and compete for prizes. This page continues the B Mega Ultra Quiz, presenting questions 9 through 25, designed to test the depth of knowledge of Mega Drive enthusiasts. The questions cover a wide spectrum, from specific in-game details like the relationship between characters in Space Harrier 2 and the original Space Harrier, the final boss of the Japanese version of the Super Shinobi, known as the Revenge of Shinobi internationally, or the name of your ship in Curse. It delves into items found in games like Arek no Tenku Maju, character relationships in Phantasy Star, and identifying the strongest character in Golden Axe. The quiz also extends beyond the games themselves, probing knowledge about Sega's TV programs, the sound of the SST band, early modem-compatible software like Telltale Mahjong, and even details about Technosoft, including the location of their city and applicants for a fan club. Each question is multiple choice and includes a relevant screenshot or image, challenging fans on obscure and specific points about Sega's universe and related media from the era. This page continues the B Mega Ultra Quiz, splitting the questions from 26 to 30 into 3 distinct courses. Course A focuses on hardware knowledge, Course B tests deep understanding of specific game details, and Course C challenges readers on trivia related to the magazine and its culture. The hardware course. A. Asks about technical aspects like the manufacturer of the Mega Drive's main CPU, Motorola 68000, the number of sound channels available from its sound sources, PSG, FM, PCM, the maximum number of sprites displayed simultaneously, the planned size of the FDD, and the required room size when porting PC software. The Ultimate Mega Drive Player Course B delves into specific game trivia, such as the birthdate of Anna and Rika from Phantasy Star II, the total number of children appearing in all Sorcerian scenarios, the sizes of Aleka's 3 items in Mahjong Cop Ryu, the name of the protagonist's father in Phantasy Star III, and the minimum number of rock-paper-scissors wins needed to completely clear Arek no Tenku Maju. Finally, the B Mega Addict course, C, covers magazine-specific and cultural questions, including the captain of the Sega forces in Mega Drive 9X, the name of Miura Jun's band, the most frequently featured model in the game magazine Beep, the predecessor to B Mega, and which other magazine B Mega writer Olix Koji contributes to. Each question is accompanied by a relevant screenshot or illustration from the respective game or topic. This page lays out all the awesome prizes you could win in the Beam Mega Ultra Quiz. With a total of 300 winners, there are 16 different items up for grabs, covering a fantastic range of stuff. You've got essential hardware like the Mega Drive joystick and the Mega Modem, the chance to pick an upcoming Mega Drive game you're excited about, or even a CD of your choice. They're also giving away some cool books on RPGs and game music, and unique collectibles like a poster for Super Monaco GP and a miniature 1/10 scale Mega Drive model. That thing looks sweet! Plus, one lucky winner can snag a rare Atari Lynx handheld. To get your entry in, you need to answer the quiz questions from the previous page on a postcard, making sure you indicate which course you chose for questions 26 through 30. You also need to answer a quick survey about the magazine and your gaming tastes, including your favorite music. Remember to attach the entry coupon from the magazine to your postcard, as you need 1 coupon per entry. Just make sure it's postmarked by the February 15th deadline, and send it off to the address listed here for the Beep Mega Drive editorial department. Good luck winning some of this cool gear. This page features a column by the unique personality Jun Miura, titled 2 or 3 Things You Must Remember for 1990. It's filled with his characteristic humorous illustrations, depicting himself, strange creatures, and scenes related to the text. Miura describes the cluttered state of his office, packed with furniture, AV equipment, magazines, and games. He mentions finally clearing Rambo 2, and introduces a bizarre concept he calls channel sex game, where you choose favorite channels based on various criteria. He also talks about a card game called Binbu, which he illustrated and is giving away as a prize to 3 readers of this corner. Miura reflects on his band, Nagisa Oshima, performing at the Budokan, a significant event. It's a personal and entertaining look into his thoughts and activities at the start of the new decade, touching upon games and other aspects of his life. This page features the 5th installment of the Technology Trends Communication column, titled The Relationship Between Fax and Personal Computers, by Akagi Nijuhyaku. The article delves into fax technology, explaining its principles and recounting its developmental history, noting that Japan played a significant role despite the basic patent being foreign. It describes how fax converts images into signal data, akin to Morse code, for transmission over phone lines. The column also discusses the growing popularity of fax, mentioning how common it has become in Japan, even being integrated into conversations. A key focus is the emerging compatibility between Sci6 and fax, explaining how the rise of personal computers led to the development of PC fax boards, allowing digital data from a PC to be sent directly without needing to print it first, thus saving paper and offering more efficient data handling. The author speculates that integrating fax functionality directly into computers, potentially even devices like the Mega Drive, would be beneficial and gain attention. This page offers part 2 of a detailed guide to Sunsoft's new baseball game, Telephone Stadium. Building on previous coverage, the focus this month is a promised deep dive into the game's data. The article reveals that while 10 pages were planned for data, only 18 of the game's 30 teams have their data included. This is because the remaining 12 teams are modeled after real-world professional sports teams, and their latest statistics are not yet finalized, currently using data from the year before last. The guide emphasizes the game's incredibly detailed parameters, covering over a dozen items, from player performance to various abilities, like pitch identification and long hitting power, with ability ratings topping out at 15. Screenshots showcase gameplay moments such as a successful double play and a fielding error at first base, alongside a menu screen featuring options like data, edit, and, notably, a telephone option. This page continues the coverage of Telephone Stadium, focusing on the depth of the edit mode and team creation. The article discusses choosing a base team for competitive play, recommending strong teams like A, M, or Q. It highlights the importance of edit mode and player training for success, noting the extensive player data parameters. Screenshots illustrate successful player training, showing improvements in pitching stats like speed, curve, slider, and knuckleball effectiveness, and another screen depicts a unique event where the manager retires. The lower section of the page displays the current roster and key statistics for 12 of the game's teams, explicitly stating that this data is subject to change in a future update. These teams include Galliouts, Cavs, Drastics, Spirals, Tricers, Wiles, Buckles, Brinks, Lilacs, Hopes, Futures, and Options. This page continues the deep dive into the Telephone Stadium baseball simulation, providing detailed roster and statistical breakdowns for 3 more teams. We see the juniors, idols, and vegetals laid out, mirroring the format from the previous page. For each team, their season record is listed, alongside key team statistics like batting average, home run count, and earned run average. Beneath this summary, comprehensive tables detail individual player data. These tables include position, name, various pitching or batting statistics depending on the player type, and numerous skill ratings governing performance aspects like stamina, power, contact, fielding, and throwing strength. This level of data provides serious players with the necessary information to analyze team strengths and weaknesses, crucial for strategy in the game's competitive modes, or when utilizing the edit mode discussed previously. The small text at the bottom reiterates the abbreviations used for the skill ratings, emphasizing the depth of the game's simulation. This page dives further into the intense statistical data for Telephone Stadium, presenting detailed breakdowns for 3 more fictional teams: Sumubaya, Kamigatas, and Wrestlers. Just like the teams on the prior page, each section provides the team's overall win-loss record, batting average, home run total, and earned run average for their season. Below the summary for each team is a comprehensive roster with individual player stats. These tables are packed with numbers covering pitching performance like wins, losses, and ERA, or batting metrics like average, RBIS, and home runs. Crucially, they also list the various skill ratings for each player, giving players deep insight into their abilities in areas like stamina, power, contact, speed, fielding, and throwing. This level of detail is absolutely essential for any serious Telephone Stadium strategist looking to optimize their team lineup or dominate the game's simulation modes. It's the kind of data you need to truly understand player strengths and weaknesses beyond just the basic stats. This page continues the deep dive into the statistical world of Telephone Stadium, presenting detailed data for 3 more teams: the Excites, the Yahoos, and Tatoshi Gumi. Just like the previous page, each section provides a team overview, including their win-loss record and key team statistics like batting average and ERA. Following the team summaries are extensive rosters listing individual players. For each player, you get a comprehensive breakdown of their performance stats, covering pitching records, batting averages, home runs, and more. Crucially for strategy, the charts detail player skill ratings across various categories such as stamina, power, contact ability, speed, defensive fielding, and throwing strength. This level of granular data is vital for players looking to analyze team compositions, evaluate individual player strengths and weaknesses, and plan their strategy effectively within the game. It's an essential resource for anyone serious about mastering Telephone Stadium's simulation or team management aspects. This page continues the comprehensive statistical breakdown for Telephone Stadium, offering detailed data for 3 more teams: Kuyuren, the Nestors, and the Olympus. Just like the previous pages, you'll find team-level summaries, including their season records and key performance metrics like team batting average and ERA. Following the team overviews are extensive individual player statistics, covering everything from pitching results and batting performance to crucial skill ratings such as stamina, hitting power, contact ability, speed, defensive fielding, and throwing strength. This granular level of detail is invaluable for strategists looking to optimize their lineups, understand player strengths and weaknesses, and truly master the simulation aspects of the game. This page continues the extensive statistical breakdown for the baseball simulation game, Telephone Stadium. It provides detailed data for 3 additional teams: the Animates, Summits, and Unions. Just like the previous entries, each team gets a summary, including their season record, team batting average, and era, crucial for understanding their overall performance. Below the team summaries are comprehensive individual player statistics. This includes key pitching stats like innings pitched and era, batting performance such as hits, home runs, and RBIs, and vital skill ratings covering stamina, hitting power, contact ability, speed, defensive fielding, and throwing strength. This level of detail is essential for any serious player looking to analyze team strengths and weaknesses and gain an edge in the game's strategic simulation. This page continues the deep dive into the statistical core of the baseball simulation telephone Stadium, essential knowledge for any serious player. We get detailed breakdowns for 3 more teams: the reserves, the majors, and the questions. For each club, you'll find their season record, team batting average, total home runs, and the critical era statistic, painting a clear picture of their overall performance. Below these summaries are the individual player statistics, laying bare the strengths and weaknesses of every athlete on the roster. This includes comprehensive pitching data like innings and era, all the key batting stats like hits, homers, and RBIs, and crucial skill ratings covering stamina, hitting power, eye for contact, speed on the bases, defensive fielding ability, and arm strength. This level of detail is absolutely vital for strategy, allowing players to analyze matchups, build lineups, and exploit every angle the simulation offers. These pages are gold mines for understanding the game's mechanics and mastering team composition. This page continues the deep dive into Telephone Stadium, shifting focus from team statistics to individual player performance. Here, you'll find the top 10 ranked pitchers across a wide array of categories, providing essential data for building the ultimate pitching staff. The rankings cover fundamental stats like annual salary, era, wins, and saves, giving you insight into the league's top performers and their value. Beyond the numbers, it breaks down crucial individual abilities, rating players on stamina, control, ball quality, pitching skill, and velocity. What's particularly invaluable are the rankings for specific pitches, detailing the best players for curveballs, sliders, sinkers, forkballs, knuckleballs, the special SSF pitch, and palm balls. Mastering this data is key to exploiting player strengths and outsmarting opponents in the simulation. The page also features a charming, if slightly wild-looking, dog-like creature character dressed in baseball gear, adding a touch of personality to the stats. This page delves into the crucial fielder statistics and abilities within Telephone Stadium, complementing the pitcher data from the previous page. It kicks off with top rankings for core offensive stats like annual salary, batting average, home runs, RBI, and stolen bases, essential for identifying sluggers and speedsters. The focus then shifts to detailed fielder ability ratings, covering everything from stamina and raw batting power to plate discipline, slug power, small ball skills, clutch hitting, running speed, fielding ability, and throwing strength. Mastering these individual player capabilities is key to building a balanced and effective lineup. The page also includes another appearance by the distinctive, energetic, cartoon baseball creature. Finally, there's a valuable graph comparing the overall team strength of all leagues, visually represented by stacked bars showing combined pitcher and fielder points. This provides a quick overview of which teams are powerhouses and which might need strategic building, making it a vital reference for any serious player looking to dominate the league in Telephone Stadium. This page focuses on the graphic production of the RPG Yusei OU. It features an interview with representative graphic designer Naoyuki Kato, discussing his involvement in the project, which includes supervising the game's opening, ending, and package art, as well as overseeing the overall world setting. Kato touches on the challenges of game development, such as story inconsistencies or historical anachronisms, and highlights the technical constraints of the Mega Drive's color palette compared to other platforms. He notes the floating city concept in Yusei OU, and the magic used to achieve it were particularly interesting aspects for him. The page also includes a brief bio for Mr. Kato, highlighting his career starting from the 1970s. This page continues the interview with graphic designer Naoyuki Kato, focusing on the challenges of creating game graphics, particularly on the Mega Drive with its color palette limitations. Kato explains how artists must work within these constraints, sometimes using color families to represent details that ideally require a wider range, contrasting this with less restricted illustrations like those from American artists. He discusses adapting his original artwork for the Mega Drive version of Return of the Fairy King, noting his surprise at the subtle color nuances achieved despite the technical limitations. Kato also shares his perspective on game design inconsistencies, such as RPG characters carrying excessive gear or illogical world structures, mentioning past work on games like Dragon Quest. He describes the unique spherical world design used in Return of the Fairy King, where movement is primarily horizontal, a deliberate choice to avoid typical cylindrical game maps. Finally, the page introduces Quake, a company assisting Kato with computer graphic production, highlighting their collaboration on Return of the Fairy King. A brief note mentions reader submissions for FDD and CD-ROM ideas being forwarded to Sega. This page features a striking illustration symbolizing Sega's push into the global market, particularly America. We see a representative proudly holding a Sega flag over a globe showing America and Japan, flanked by American icons Superman and Batman holding Sega controllers, with a Sega Genesis console nearby. The accompanying text delves into Sega's current market position, aiming to reach 2 million units sold, and discussing the intense competition with Nintendo's dominant NES Famicom. The reviewer notes Sega's focus on leveraging the Genesis's hardware advantages, such as high-resolution graphics and sound, to attract users and software developers. They analyze the market strategy, including targeting specific demographics and genres, to carve out market share against the established giant. While acknowledging the difficulty of directly competing with the HiS's massive user base, the article suggests Sega is making strides and has a viable path forward. The text also briefly mentions competitors like the TurboGrafx-16, PC Engine, and Game Boy. The article wraps up by promising a future discussion on the Mega Drive's significant role in the game market. The next page features an article titled TV Game Industry, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, specifically the sixth installment focusing on the Mega Drive's 3 million unit penetration strategy, a special edition looking at the overseas market, written by Uncle Jam, a salaryman game critic, with illustrations by Yutaka Kondo. The article delves into the Mega Drive/Genesis's progress, particularly the hopeful signs of third-party developers showing interest in Japan. It mentions developers like Taito and Tecmo making titles like Ultimate Tiger and Ninja Gaiden available. The reviewer notes that Sega's own hits like Golden Axe and Road Blasters are gaining popularity. The focus then shifts to the US market, where the Genesis is already a hot topic and quite popular. While the situation with American third parties is still somewhat unclear, Sega is actively working to gain their support. Interestingly, the article notes that user feedback indicates Sega's reputation is higher in the US than in Japan. The success of the Genesis is seen as decisive for Sega. The article identifies the target demographic in the US as older players, with games like Dragon Warrior, Altered Beast, and Ghouls on Ghosts appealing to this group. The positive reception at events like CES is highlighted, along with strong support from American third parties, which the reviewer finds convincing. This page features an article by Yasuhiko Shimazu, titled Game Sound Situation in the First Year of HiSE. The author reflects on 1989 as a busy year, highlighting the emergence of the Mega Drive as a significant development for readers. Compared to the long-established Famicom, the Mega Drive was just starting, but its initial software demonstrated high quality, particularly in graphics and sound. The article focuses heavily on the Mega Drive's sound capabilities, specifically the combination of FM and PCM sound sources. The author is particularly impressed with PCM audio, which allows for realistic sounds like voices, a notable departure from the earlier Famicom generation. Examples given include the Get Ready sample from Space Harrier, and character voices in games like Thunder Force 2 and Golden Axe. The FM sound source is described as using complex mathematical calculations to synthesize sound, presented as a fascinating scientific technique. The author concludes that the Mega Drive's sound capabilities offer a distinctly different experience compared to the Famicom era. The page includes 2 screenshots illustrating games mentioned. One appears to be Space Harrier, likely a flight or bonus stage scene, and the other shows characters in a forest setting from Golden Axe. This page continues the discussion on game sound, showing a music selection screen on the left, likely from a racing game given the track names like Outride a GP and Winning Runs. The main article expands on the evolution of game music, noting how it has progressed from simple sounds to complex compositions crucial for enhancing game atmosphere. The author reflects on the shift from basic PSG square wave sound to the more sophisticated FM sound sources, mentioning games like Phantasy Star IV and Ghouls and Ghosts as examples. The article highlights the increasing importance of music in modern games and mentions the involvement of musicians like those from Cassiopeia, referencing Superhangen's sound. On the right, There's a small feature about Hideaki Tokunaga's theme song for the Dragon Quest anime, released as a CD tie-in for Dragon Quest IV. Overall, the page emphasizes the significant strides made in-game audio quality and composition during this era. This page presents the results of a reader poll for the Sound Club Grand Prize, focusing on game music and albums. The Best Game Music Grand Prize was a tie between the incredible soundtracks of Thunder Force 2 MD and the Super Shinobi, also known as Revenge of Shinobi in the West. Other standout game music recognized included The Legend of Valkyrie, Turbo Outrun, and Valis 2. For albums, the Best Album Grand Prize went to the Super Sonic Team SST album. Excellent Album Awards were given to the soundtracks for Darius 2 and the Symphonic Suite YS. The main text details the results, mentioning other popular titles like The Scheme, Mother, Lost World, YS2, and Castlevania. Reflecting on the diverse tastes and the rapidly increasing quality of game audio and album releases. There are also reviews of 2 multi-disc CD compilations, the Konami Special Music Senryo Bako and the Falcom Special Box 90, both packed with classic game music from their respective companies. A separate feature highlights the new CD release for Super Real Mahjong, which features character image songs. Finally, a table lists upcoming game music releases on various formats, including CDs and CTS, from different publishers. This page features the 5th installment of the column series Japan RPG Journey by Takeo Iijima, titled Travel is a Shoe Rub. The column appears to be a personal reflection on game design and the source of creative ideas. It includes a humorous illustration of a character relaxing in a bathtub, perhaps contemplating ideas, with a note about the displacement principle. There's also a smaller drawing of a man smoking and holding a bottle. The text discusses the importance of travel as a source of inspiration for game designers, referencing popular RPGs like Mother and Dragon Quest, while reflecting on the creative process and the challenge of finding fresh ideas. This page features BeepMD, a section showcasing reader contributions. An illustration depicts characters celebrating Valentine's Day with games. The Game Software Review section includes feedback on The Revenge of Shinobi, praising its graphics, scrolling, and excellent music by Yuzo Koshiro, calling it a must-have for Mega Drive owners. Another reader responds to a previous discussion about Phantasy Star II, expressing satisfaction with the game despite some criticisms, and contrasts it with Wizardry and Dragon Quest, stating a preference for Phantasy Star II. The Things I Want to Say to the Industry section continues. The praise for The Revenge of Shinobi, again highlighting the BGM as the best part. However, the same reader then discusses disappointment with the overall sound quality on the Mega Drive, feeling it has declined since early titles like Phantasy Star, and suggesting game developers need to improve their sound design, referencing titles like Altered Beast. A small comic strip titled Gone with the Wind is included, featuring simple drawings and dialogue about gaming, with a panel referencing Tetris arriving. This page focuses on reader contributions and strategies for popular games. The main feature is a Tips and Strategy Hotline section dedicated to The Revenge of Shinobi, a challenging action game highlighted on the previous page. Readers share strategies for defeating several bosses, including the first stage boss with a sword, the third stage boss with cannons, the fourth stage boss, and later bosses. The tips emphasize timing jumps, exploiting boss weaknesses like hitting the head, and using specific items like the shuriken. Illustrations accompany some strategies to visually guide players. Another part of the BeepMD section offers a tip for stopping the movement of hanging ceilings in a game by shooting specific parts of the walls. An illustration shows a character and the effect of this action. A section titled, Let's Make Sega a Man, discusses Sega's potential growth, mentioning software like SimCity and Populous, and comparing game development approaches. It touches on the importance of quality software for the platform's success. Finally, a reader illustration and submission titled Megara Research Group features a distressed character surrounded by question marks, expressing confusion or frustration, possibly related to a difficult aspect of gaming. This page features various reader contributions, starting with a nostalgic story about encountering the SG-1000 game Yamato at a festival lottery. Another section presents an intense debate on game development, with a reader arguing that original Mega Drive games like Thunder Force 2 MD and The Revenge of Shinobi are superior to constrained ports, while another reader champions the idea of quality ports of classic arcade titles like Twinbee and ASO armored scrum object as a key strategy for Sega's success. This ties into a suggestion from another reader that porting older hits could help the Mega Drive surpass 3 million units sold, noting the popularity of such titles on other platforms like the PC Engine. The page also includes a fun comparison of characters, highlighting similarities between figures like a ruined character and real-life personalities, and a brief review expressing optimism for the future of Sega's software library as third-party support grows. Illustrations include robot characters and figures from character comparisons. This page features reader-submitted illustrations and opinions, reflecting the community's engagement with the Sega Mega Drive. At the top, we see fan art, including what appears to be a souped UP Mega Drive system, a character from the arcade hit Truxton, and other playful designs. The Things I Want to Say to the Industry section dives into the finer points of Mega Drive game design. One reader focuses on the music, expressing enthusiasm for the Mega Drive's audio capabilities, particularly when using the Sound Shock accessory. They highlight the impressive sound design in games like Splatterhouse 2 and Phantasy Star 2, and are particularly moved by Thunder Force 2i. This reader urges developers to make better use of the console's PCM sound chip for music, rather than just voice samples, believing Sega's sound can improve even further. In I Want This Kind of Game, a reader suggests a unique concept, a music game featuring the popular artist Yumi Matsutoya, proposing a large-scale campaign to engage fans. The recruiting section outlines the various categories for reader submissions, covering everything from industry critiques and game reviews to cheat codes, debates, character comparisons, and illustrations. Notably, they are seeking ideas under a category aimed at making Sega manly, hinting at discussions around boosting hardware sales, which ties into themes from the previous page. Rounding out the contributions is a creative illustration merging Ultraman and Batman into a character called Ultra Batman. This page features a column titled Dai Himajin, Erinsai Katsudo, and Yuko Kajotoki's video, and whatever they want to say. It focuses on the cultural phenomenon of Ikasuban Tengoku, IKA-10, a popular TV show showcasing unsigned bands, and its official video releases from Victor Entertainment, covering performances from February to October '89. The main content is a dialogue between two columnists discussing these videos. They recount buying a record player just to listen to records by the band Tama, who gained fame on IKA-10. The conversation then moves to the IKA-10 videos themselves, highlighting the diverse and often eccentric bands featured on the show. They specifically mention and comment on acts like Tama, Ningen Isu, Human Chair, Baidoku Jealousy, Syphilis Jealousy, CBA, One Night Stands, Yellow Taiyos, Susumu Miao, and Japan's Presidents, and Swimmers. Photos on the page show some of these memorable performers, including the theatrical Baidoku Jealousy, the formal yet wild Susumu Miao and Japan's Presidents, and the scantily clad Swimmers. The columnists emphasize that the show's unique and unusual performers, referred to as Iramono, were integral to IKA-10's identity and appeal, concluding that you cannot discuss IKA-10 without acknowledging them. The next page continues the discussion on the IKA-10 phenomenon. The columnists talk about the fan base being predominantly teenagers, and touch upon accusations of plagiarism against the band Oshima, comparing one of their songs to California Blue Sky. They question the longevity of the IKA-10 boom, but the reviewer suggests it was worth covering before it potentially fades. They praise specific bands, highlighting the intense drumming of Oni and Beast Nice, and the lyrical depth of another act. The lower section shifts focus to the business side, introducing the IKA-10 Market, a popular merchandise shop in Harajuku catering to the show's fans. This store sells fan-made demo tapes, videos, cries, and a wide range of original goods like badges, keychains, apparels, and towels, featuring the IKA-10 logo. The article describes the shop as bustling with teenage girls, with items selling out quickly, showcasing the strong market demand fueled by the show's popularity. Photos show the theatrical band on Nani and Beast Nice, and the busy IKA-10 market shop. This page delves into various forms of entertainment, starting with a surprising look at a skiing handbook that boasts a data volume comparable to an RPG, covering everything from hotels to costs, presented in a way that even non-skiers might enjoy. Next, it features a book dedicated to the lore and stories behind items in the Dragon Quest series, promising to reveal details about iconic objects like the Mirror of Ra or the Orb of Light, perfect for fans wanting to deepen their understanding of the world before diving into Dragon Quest VIS. Shifting gears, there's news about the birth of multimedia software combining Laserdisc and Macintosh computers, using Pioneer's technology to deliver high-quality, searchable content like educational titles, and announcing support for QuetzDRAM changers and rewritable LDS. The page also introduces the record of Lodos War Companion, hailed as a masterpiece of Japanese tabletop RPGs. This rulebook, serialized in Compte-Key, provides everything needed to explore or create adventures in the world of Lodos, covering its history, geography, characters, and offering original scenarios. Finally, it highlights the adventures of Horai Gakuen, a play-by-mail RPG, where players interact with a fictional school world by mailing in their actions to a game master, experiencing life as an alter ego in a unique take on the RPG genre. This page highlights a collection of card and board games under the Come Come information banner. Featured are 5 titles with accompanying descriptions and box art. The selection includes Dragons in the Dungeons, a simplified RPG board game; Horror Night, a card game where players battle monsters in a precarious world; Whimsical Angels, a card game where players manipulate fate as angels; the Tank Hunter card set, a fast-paced World War II vehicle combat game; and box game RPG Beyond Rose to Road, a detailed fantasy RPG set in the Yolselroom world, offering intricate systems and a realistic experience. The games span various genres and complexity levels, emphasizing accessibility and engaging gameplay. This page features BeepMD Dataland, presenting 2 prominent video game rankings. The first is the MegaDrive Software Sales Top 5. Covering data from December 1st to 31st, 1989, based on sales from several major department stores and hobby shops. Topping the chart is Golden Axe, an absolute classic action title known for its widespread appeal. Following is the ARPG Vermilion, then Super Hangin', a faithful port of the popular arcade racing game. Ranking 4th is the notoriously difficult action platformer Ghouls and Ghosts, and rounding out the top 5 is Tatsujin, known internationally as Truxton, a challenging vertical shooter. The list also includes the game type and price for each title. The second ranking highlights the popular video game Best 5. This section lists games popular across various platforms, likely including arcade titles given the manufacturers listed. Super Monaco GP takes the top spot, lauded as a perfect recreation of the arcade racer. Namco's Winning Run, known for its advanced hardware, is second. Konami's unique puzzle shooter Hybrid Quarth comes in third, followed by Taito's Sai at fourth. Finally, the ever-popular Tetris from Sega secures the 5th position. This ranking provides game names and their manufacturers, offering insight into the most talked-about titles at the time. The symbols next to the rankings indicate whether a game is rising sharply, falling sharply, or is a noteworthy title. This page dives into what the readers are excited about, starting with the most anticipated new games Best 10. Topping the list is the classic ARPG Sorcerian, followed by the highly anticipated RPG Phantasy Star II. Other exciting titles readers are looking forward to include the arcade shooter Afterburner 2 and the action game Atomic Robo-Kid. The page also features an extensive MegaDrive new software schedule table detailing upcoming releases across several months, listing games with their genres, manufacturers, and prices, promising a wealth of new titles for the system. Next up is the list of games readers want ported to MegaDrive Best 10, highlighting popular arcade titles readers are hoping to see brought to the console. Topping this wish list is the legendary shooter R-Type 2, with Konami's Gradius series, specifically 2 and 2i, and Capcom's UN Squadron also making strong appearances. Taito's Darius 2 and Namco's Splatterhouse are also high on the list, showing a clear demand for top-tier arcade ports. Finally, there's a brief update on new software, specifically mentioning Phantasy Star II. It notes that new battle screens have been revealed, and they appear different from the 3D style of previous entries, mentioning details like layered scrolling backgrounds for enemies. This section gives a quick peek into the development progress of key titles. This page contains the third part of an SF fantasy novel titled Continuing the Dream. The story centers on a young boy named Satoru, living in a futuristic society where information is heavily managed by a central system called Mother. Satoru is alone after receiving a network notification about his father's death. He also searches for information about his mother, who is seemingly gone as well, interacting with the network terminal and receiving cryptic messages and codes. The narrative explores themes of loss, technology, and a growing mystery surrounding his family's fate within this networked world. An illustration depicts Satoru using a computer terminal. This page features listings for various Japanese computer magazines from February 1990, detailing the contents of their respective issues. Topics covered include in-depth hardware reviews, such as tests of 386 desktop computers and lightweight laptops, alongside reports on the emerging large-capacity hard disk era. Software is heavily featured, with articles on operating system changes, database software, word processors like Ichitaro Dash, and specialized applications for scientific calculation and image processing. Programming languages and techniques are explored, including thorough guides for programming exams, codec language tutorials, Unix surveys, and tools like Yak for compiler programming. Notable mentions include an interview with IC language co-creator Brian W. Kernighan and a report featuring comments attributed to Bill Clinton regarding the software revolution. The listings also touch upon specific hardware, like the PS55Z being a potential competitor to NEC's popular PC98 series, and various system handbooks and software utilities. Game developers are actively working on new Mega Drive and PC Engine titles. Namco is making progress on Galahad. Denpa Shimbuncha is developing a realistic Afterburner 2 port and planning a future project. Asmik's Air Diver, featuring a wrestling segment, is in development. Wolf Team's Final Zone 2 is nearing completion, with 4 releases planned. Toplan is planning a Mega Drive title for autumn. Technosoft's Thunder Force 2i is progressing towards a June release. Hot Bee's Insector X offers enhanced graphics and sound, while Kageki is also in development. Upcoming events include Taito's Fan Appreciation Day, featuring the Mega Drive. A Namco-sponsored racing event, Yanmar Cup, sent winners to the Formula One America Grand Prix. The Ultra Q, the movie special effects studio, is opening to the public. This page features an in-depth look at the Mega Drive port of Sorcerian. Originating on PC, and known as the 5th title in the classic Dragon Slayer series, Sorcerian gained immense popularity, leading to various ports and additional content. The article highlights 2 key aspects of the game: its unique structure featuring 10 distinct scenarios presented in an omnibus format, allowing players to tackle them in almost any order, and its genre as an action RPG with side-scrolling gameplay. Screenshots show the game's menu system, a list of the 10 core scenarios, and the in-game view displaying character stats and action, emphasizing the challenging side-scrolling combat mixed with puzzle elements. It's presented as a comprehensive guide to this anticipated new release. The next page dives into the mechanics of character creation and town facilities in Sorcerian. It explains that heroes originate from Pentawat Town and, when not adventuring, work regular jobs. Character creation involves selecting from 4 distinct races: fighter, wizard, elf, and dwarf, each with unique strengths, weaknesses, and job limitations. A notable system is aging. Characters grow old, affecting their abilities and graphics, and eventually die, but their knowledge and items pass down through generations, emphasizing a lineage concept. The page also details the 60 different jobs available, determined by race, age, and gender, with characters earning income by spending time in town. Furthermore, it provides an overview of essential town locations and their functions, such as the castle audience room for leveling up, the temple for resurrection, shops for weapons/armor, the elder's house for item appraisal and magic insights, the wizard shop for magic services, the chemist's shop for potions, and the dojo for parameter training. Screenshots illustrate the character status screen, race options, and the interiors of several town buildings. This page delves into the world of medical herbs within Sorcerians, explaining how adventurers can find herbs and take them to a chemist shop in town to create potions. It highlights that the type of potion created depends on the herbs used and provides a list of effects as a guide, encouraging players to experiment to discover all combinations. The page also touches on the concept of inherited knowledge from the Elder's House. Possessing this knowledge allows players to automatically replenish certain potions they've used, provided they have the required herbs. This isn't about knowing how to mix them initially, but ensuring you don't run out mid-adventure if you have the ingredients. A detailed table lists various potion or spell names and their effects. Examples include Cure to remove poison, Heal to restore 70% of max HP, Uncurse, and Resurrect. Defensive options like Shield, Ice Wall, Firewall, Fog Bank, and the powerful Invisible Spell are shown. There are also spells to control specific monster types: Earth, Water, Fire, Spirit, Air, with effects like Chain and Still spells, plus anti-magic to stop enemy spells and Negate, which can stop time. Offensive spells like Freeze, Stone Touch, Meteor, and Death Deathfire are also listed. Illustrations depict some of these effects, such as the freeze release, firewall, invisibility, stop time, anti-magic/negate, and the devastating meteor spell. It's a great resource for understanding the wide array of magical effects available through herbal concoctions in the game. This page delves into the intricacies of monsters and the magic system in Sorcerians. Monsters vary by scenario, but they consistently attack in groups and move quickly. Success against them depends on knowing their elemental attribute. Attacking with the wrong type of magic can be ineffective. There are 5 core attributes: Earth, animal humanoid types; Water, aquatic liquid types; Fire, monsters using fire as a weapon; Wind, flying types; and Sky, undead spirit types. Magic system revolves around the 7 stars: Fire, Water, Wood, Moon, Sun, Gold, and Earth. These stars aren't just ingredients for spells. Each star corresponds to a character parameter. Equipping an item enchanted with a particular star directly boosts the linked parameter, like an Earth star increasing strength, STR. Creating magic on items has 2 main methods: spending time or spending money. You can leave an item at the magic shop for 1 to 3 in-game years and it becomes enchanted. Alternatively, you can repeatedly take the item to the shop and retrieve it immediately before visiting the Elder's house, where the Elder can extract the magic for a fee. To actually use magic, you must equip the enchanted item. Magic consumes MP, and increasing your MP limit requires gaining experience to level up, followed by training at a dojo. The page also notes that even if you manage to create powerful magic, lower-level characters may not be able to wield it effectively. Screenshots depict different monster types from various scenarios, and illustrations explain the magic crafting process. This page details Scenario 1, the Grey Dungeon, in Sorcerian. It introduces Antronov, a genius maze builder who left behind a vast dungeon filled with puzzles and monsters. The goal is to solve the mysteries and seal the creatures. Within the dungeon, players encounter Antronov's descendant, Wedge, who provides information and indicates that 3 items are needed to seal the maze: the Shield of Frenzy, Claws of Nightmare, and Sword of Magic, all found within the dungeon. The page highlights 2 traps. The first involves differently colored ground sections. Stepping on both causes the floor to sink and a wall to break. The second trap, guarding the Claws of Nightmare, is trickier. It involves a suspicious wall where simply using the shield doesn't work. Consulting with Wedge for hints is advised, with a specific unlit room being a key detail. Solving this trap grants the Claws of Nightmare. Finally, a magic list section previews some of the game's 120 spells, showing 64 are public. Magic creation involves star combinations, or the Elder's Knowledge. 3 spells are listed: Heal, restores 70% HP, Rejuvenate, makes the lead character 1 year younger, and Add to Life, temporarily doubles max HP, along with their MP costs. Screenshots show various dungeon areas and characters, including Wedge. This page delves into Scenario 2 of Sorcerian, titled Evergreen Village. Despite being surrounded by snowy mountains, the village is called Evergreen because a goddess statue in a nearby cave protects it, keeping it warm like spring. The scenario presents several objectives. First, players must rescue the goddess statue. They are asked by the village chief to help move it from the cave, but a crucial question is raised. What about the dragon? Second, players need to find a man named Kim, who has been missing for several days. His family asks for help in the search. Finally, a dragon is discovered at the entrance of the cave but flees inside, leading to the dragon discovery. Objective: players follow the escaped dragon into the cave. This dungeon is characterized by having many sections that look identical, making it easy to get lost and requiring careful attention to navigate. Screenshots illustrate the village scenes, dialogue boxes detailing the requests, the appearance of the dragon, and the cave environment with its challenging layout. A table previews some of the spells available, listing their names, MP costs, and effects. Spells shown include Cure, MP 75 removes poison; Resurrect, MP 50 revives the dead; Melt, MP 20 unfreezes characters; Stoneflesh, MP 20 restores petrified characters; Turn Undead, MP 10 repels undead;
and Sandstorm, MP10, hinders enemy movement.
This page moves on to Scenario 3, titled The Sky's Waterfall, or Heavenly Falls. Black clouds have enveloped Pentawa, blocking the sun, just as the prophet Yan foretold, though few believed him.
Yan claims the cause is an anomaly at the Heavenly Falls.
To dispel the clouds, the party must investigate the falls. Getting there seems impossible, as Sorcerians can't fly, but Yan has a plan, his self-made flying ship, the Falcon. Upon reaching the falls, the party must visit the manager's hut. The manager explains a monster destroyed the control mechanism, and while most repairs are done, one gear is missing. The quest then becomes finding this gear. It's likely in the nearby village of Tartar, located below the falls, but reaching it requires passing through the Trolls Forest. Screenshots show the manager's hut, the Falcon flying ship, and the multi-level structure of the Heavenly Falls. There's also an illustration of a troll character who is hungry and wants to eat people, asking permission to pass, noting that everything is for survival. A spell list provides details on several magic abilities. Fog Bank, MP10, weakens enemy attacks. Anti-magic, MP30, stops enemy spells. Holy Water, MP15, reduces damage from undead. Shield, MP50, creates a defensive barrier. Turn Spell, MP10, reflects enemy magic, and Ice Wall, MP50, creates an ice shield. This page details Scenario 2 of Sorcerian, titled Chinese Medicine. The goal is to find a rejuvenation medicine. The adventurers travel to the town of Suhua, in China. Initially, the townspeople are unhelpful. But after clearing out monkeys, a girl named Rinrin joins the party. Rinrin's uncle offers to make the medicine if the party can gather 3 ingredients: Haka, Reishi, and Sarunokoshikake. Each ingredient has specific properties and locations. Reishi is found at Rinrin's father's house. Haka is harder to find, but can be obtained after speaking with the old man Ueji from Scenario 1, who also provides crucial information about Sarunokoshike. The elusive Sarunokoshike is said to be in the nearby village of Haruan, where a person named Ku knows its exact location. This scenario is limited to a party of 3 characters. The page includes screenshots showing the player characters navigating the town and interacting with NPCs, characteristic of Sorcerian's top-down exploration and side-view combat/interaction style. An illustration humorously depicts a character pondering the nature of Sarunokoshikake. Below this, a table lists several spells available in the game. Peace reduces enemy attack power to 0, 30 MP. Change Air grants transparency and invulnerability, 75 MP. Dispel removes enemy magic, 25 MP. Invincible provides invincibility, 100 MP. Exorcism repels spirits, 100 MP. And Protect creates a shield, 40 MP. This page introduces Sorcerian's second scenario, focusing on ingredient gathering and exploration with new allies and returning characters. This page continues the guide for Scenario 2 in Sorcerian, focusing on the journey to and events within Haruan Village. First, it details the underground passage leading to the village, which Rinrin recommends. The guide warns that this path is full of monsters and is quite maze-like, making it easy to get lost. An illustration shows characters battling bats in this dark environment. Upon arriving at Haruan Village, the situation is strange. The fields are neglected, and villagers speak nonsensically, claiming they are akin to gods and no longer need to work. When attempting to inquire about Sarunokoshikake, the house owner is dismissive and lazy. Screenshots show the village's dilapidated state and interaction scenes. Something is clearly wrong here, as indicated by the peculiar behavior of the inhabitants and a cartoon depicting villagers proclaiming their divinity. The objective shifts to finding Rinrin's cousin, Minmin, who is expected to be in the village and might know what's happening. A screenshot shows finding Minmin, who appears scared and is crying out for Rinrin. There's also mention of hearing a singing voice from somewhere, adding to the mystery. Finally, the page includes a list of several spells available. This table provides their names, MP costs, and effects, which include status ailments like confusion, scare, and timidity that affect enemies' minds or make them flee, as well as offensive spells like Storm, Firestorm, and Kneel for combat. This page delves into Scenario 5 of Sorcerian, titled Petos's Altar, where a prince is gravely ill, and the only cure is the child's fruit, found within a mysterious frozen shrine. The guide details the journey through the shrine, noting the peculiar phenomenon of unfrozen water despite the intense cold. This mystery is tied to a treasure chest, marked with Pitidos's crest, from which warm air emanates. The guide highlights an early challenge. This chest cannot be opened initially, despite not being locked. The player must proceed further into the dungeon to find necessary items to unlock its secrets. A humorous note teases about the chest's contents. Further challenges include encountering numerous unopenable doors. The guide describes finding valuable items or relics behind these doors, even humorously calling the player a bad guy for taking a traveler's belongings. Finally, the page includes a list of spells. This table provides names like Saint Fire, Flame Bolt, Crushdown, Flame, Gas Spout, and F Boomerang, alongside their MP costs and effects, ranging from raining holy fire and shooting various projectiles, to crushing enemies and using gas or a flame boomerang.
This page continues the guide for Sorcerian's Scenario 5, focusing on the Pitidos's altar quest. It details a key puzzle in the dungeon, melting a patch of frozen ice to reveal a hidden door. The guide explains that the trick is to place the item Seed of Flame into the treasure chest marked with Pitidos's crest. This chest acts as a hidden switch that melts the ice. Players are warned that failing to figure this out will leave them wandering aimlessly. Following the hidden door leads to Pitidos's altar itself, where the legendary golden wine is found. Said to be a drink for the gods, this mysterious liquid remains unfrozen despite the intense cold, hinting at its special properties. The guide emphasizes the high value of this wine and advises players to remember its location. Screenshots illustrate the ice, the hidden door, and the chest involved in the puzzle, as well as the altar area. A humorous illustration depicts characters enjoying themselves, perhaps after finding the wine. The page concludes with a continuation of the spell list, providing details for several powerful spells. These include Paralyze, which immobilizes foes, Ice Blade, Eradication, a blue projectile attack, Willow ISP, Go Mad, a madness-inducing spell, and Thunder, a devastating lightning attack. Their MP costs and effects on enemies are listed. The next page continues the Sorcerian Guide. Moving on to Scenario 6, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, set at level 3. The scenario description explains that a monster has appeared at a quiet magic school, causing chaos. Players must solve the mystery of the monster's appearance to bring peace back to the school, with a limit of 3 participants. The guide advises players to start by exploring the school thoroughly, beginning with the principal's office, visiting each room, and gathering information, even ascending to the roof. A diagram illustrates the interior layout of the magic school across multiple floors, showing various rooms like student rooms, the library, lecture hall, classrooms, principal's office, faculty room, and the cafeteria, connected by stairs and entrances. Brief notes highlight points of interest, such as a student room requiring a key, the library having a trap but containing vital information, an important lecture hall, and a classroom where a specific monster named Maruk is noted. The faculty room staff are suggested as more helpful than the unreliable principal. Below the school diagram, the spell list from the previous page continues. This section details 6 additional spells, providing their MP costs and effects. The spells listed include Disruption, Ascension for spirits, Hypnotize, Sleep, Light Cross, Tracking Projectile, Extrusion, Fire Pillar, and Spark Flash, Lightning. The next page continues the guide for Sorcerian's 6th scenario, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, detailing the investigation at the magic school. It covers key plot points like exploring the school, questioning the suspected culprit, dealing with the rather useless principal, getting help from the janitor regarding stolen items like the dark crystal and a harp, and culminates in a scream from the cafeteria as more monsters appear. Screenshots showcase the principal's office and janitor's room locations. The page also introduces several monsters found in this scenario, including the terrifying Dragonoid, the initial encounter monster, the huge rat, and the infamous Matisse slime, described as a sticky type that falls from the ceiling. An illustration depicts humorous slime-like creatures. A tea break section discusses the unique Sorcerian system that allows for additional scenario discs and character power-ups. It highlights positive comments from the development staff, stating the Mega Drive version's scenario, graphics, and sound are excellent and potentially surpass the PC version. There's also a brief mention of a promotional contest for Falcom original goods. Finally, the spell list is continued, showing 6 more spells with their MP costs and effects. This includes offensive spells like Astral Wave, Energy Bolt, Ignition, and Flame Burst, along with status effect spells such as Hypnotize and Blind, which track enemies or impair their vision. The next page continues the guide for Sorcerians, focusing on Scenario 7, Twin Islands, Level 4. This scenario centers on a conflict between the agricultural Inhoa Island and the fishing Awutam Island, who were previously connected by a bridge and lived in harmony. The crisis began when the beautiful fairy song, which originated from Inhoa Island's spring and brought vitality to the people and their crops, suddenly stopped. In its place, unpleasant sounds emerged, causing widespread irritation. The people of Inhoa Island suspect the Awutam Islanders are responsible. The page presents 3 testimonies from Inhoa Islanders expressing their grievances. They claim Awutam Islanders stole the song, report hearing disturbing sounds, and lament that their crops have withered and rotted since the song ceased. This has escalated the tension, with threats being made to cut down the bridge connecting the islands if the song is not returned. Screenshots show character dialogues and locations within the game, illustrating the narrative unfolding. A section at the bottom lists 6 spells available in the game, including Meteor, Sunray, Heatwave, Salamander, Firestream, and Death, detailing their MP costs and general effects, such as causing meteor showers, piercing enemies, or launching pursuing flame attacks. This page delves deeper into the conflict in Sorcerian's Twin Islands scenario, presenting the perspective from Awutam Island. Testimonies reveal Awutam's grievances, claiming the Inhoa Islanders threw stones at their ships and are responsible for the decline of their vital fishing grounds between the islands. One man recounts being hit by a stone while fishing under the bridge, fueling suspicions that Inhoa is targeting Awutam. The guide then details the Sorcerians' efforts. Convinced the culprit is not from Awutam, the player character tries to explain the situation to the Inhoa Islanders, but they refuse to listen and are even driven away. Returning to Inhoa yields no progress either. After repeated attempts to mediate, the situation escalates drastically. The bridge connecting the islands is cut down. The unfortunate Sorcerian is then caught in a strong wind while crossing the bridge and falls. A truly pitiful turn of events. Screenshots illustrate key dialogue moments and the dramatic bridge collapse scene. At the bottom, another section lists additional spells, including God Thunder, which sweeps with lightning, Bombard, which sends a ball of light along the ground, Poison, which launches a poison ball, Negate, which stops time, Exit, which teleports to the castle, and Give Vigor, which restores ally HP. This page details Scenario 8, Marionette Mansion. For Sorcerian, the player character arrives in the puppet town of Papet and is asked by a girl named Minna to find her lost doll, Pieta. The quest leads them to the mansion of Count Doll, deep within the forest. Screenshots show dialogue from the town and the Count's mansion. Despite the Count's cooperation, Pieta isn't found. Attempting to leave, the Sorcerians become lost in the darkening forest as night falls and monsters emerge, forcing them to return to the mansion for lodging, setting the stage for mysterious events. The page also touches upon Scenarios 9 and 10, explaining they are distinct. Scenario 9 acts as an introduction to Scenario 10, which is a special reward scenario only accessible to players who have cleared all other scenarios with their character, promising further adventures. Finally, the page promotes the release of Sorcerian on February 24th with a giveaway. Readers can win a copy of the game by applying via postcard with an included ticket and answering a quiz identifying the original developer as Nihon Falcom. Applications are due by March 8th, and winners will be announced in the May issue. This page provides a preview and introduction to the upcoming Sega Mega Drive title, The New Zealand Story, set for release on March 3rd by Taito, with an estimated price of 6,800 yen. Titled, Hot Topic Title, Immediately Understandable New Work, Thorough Master Part 4, and highlighted with the phrase, You shouldn't look down on this. The page suggests the game is a significant release. It features pixel art of the game's title, and a large illustration depicting Tiki, the game's protagonist Kiwi Bird, alongside another character. The content includes a humorous dialogue exchange, possibly between magazine mascots, or characters related to the game's world, introducing the game's premise. Tiki must rescue his friends and lover, Piu Piu, from a circus. The dialogue playfully touches upon game elements, like ball riding, and the game's setting, promising an engaging experience. This page continues the coverage of the New Zealand story, offering detailed walkthroughs for Stage 11 and Stage 12. The first section covers Stage 11, humorously noting that reaching the goal by simply jumping is incredibly difficult, and that the key strategy is first stealing balloons from enemies to gain flight. The accompanying map shows the layout, highlighting the path and the location of the goal. Text mentions the game's high difficulty, despite the cute characters, and advises following the arrows shown on the map through the stage's subsections. The second section focuses on Stage 12, emphasizing the obvious shortcut once you have a balloon, aiming for the top right diagonally across the level. The map clearly illustrates this path and marks points of interest, labeled 1 and 2. The strategy guide stresses that, unlike many games, taking the shortest path is crucial for victory in this stage. It also warns players about specific enemies at points 1 and 2, including the hotheads and rock-dropping bats, urging players to defeat them quickly or keep an eye on them. The page also includes a drawing of Bora, the grumpy penguin boss, and mentions that he is a penguin. A side image shows Tiki and Pew Pew with a leopard seal, referencing Pew Pew and friends being kidnapped, the game's premise. This page continues our deep dive into the New Zealand story, covering Stages 13 and 14. First up is Stage 13, highlighting the double threat from the relentless Funky Poo and the Porcupine. The key here is rapid fire to quickly evade their attacks. The map clearly shows the layout from start to goal, marking specific points of interest with numbers. The text points out a secret shortcut located below the center of the map, labeled 2, a narrow path horizontally across the stage that bypasses much of the challenge. Point 3, despite looking like a dead end, allows you to jump into the water below. There's also a fun sketch of Bora the penguin ready for a dive. Below that is Stage 14, described as a cold world, absolutely covered in spikes, significantly increasing the difficulty compared to earlier stages. The ruler of this icy domain is the frozen whale, which attacks by scattering ice crystals. The stage is fraught with instant-kill spikes on walls and floors, and even deep pools that can be fatal. To conquer this stage, the strategy involves obtaining the beam UFO weapon found near the top right. Point 1. Using the beam UFO is essential for effectively avoiding the frozen whale's crystal attacks and hitting the boss from the inside, as shown in the accompanying image of Tiki battling within the whale. The reviewer notes that the difficulty ramps up considerably here, and continues might not be available. This page continues our adventure in the New Zealand story, showcasing Stages 21 and 22. Stage 21 brings us back to a brick city environment. While relatively straightforward for the second world, spike hazards on walls, floors, and ceilings demand careful movement. The map highlights the path from start to goal. The text notes that players who cleared the first world should handle this easily. It also hints at a secret warp hole, suggesting you look for graffiti to find it, which can save considerable time. A fun doodle welcomes us to New Zealand, depicting Tiki and local elements like a kiwi bird and the Maori tribe. Below, Stage 22 is a frigid town where it gets colder the further south you go. This stage requires cleverness to navigate easily, despite appearances. The map details the layout, featuring spikes and tall structures. The reviewer points out that the central vertical spike shaft can be passed safely by carefully not touching the controls once inside. The stage is described as split by a central spike pillar. While the left side is manageable with caution, the right side is deemed incredibly difficult for non-professionals. A brief dialogue illustrates how using a clever trick, perhaps the spike shaft method or another shortcut, allows Tiki to clear the stage surprisingly fast after being called out for being homesick about the challenge ahead. This page details Stage 23 of the New Zealand story, warning that enemies quickly overwhelm you if not defeated promptly. The stage guide provides specific strategies for 4 key points: navigating intense enemy ambushes by using steps, staying underwater to avoid hazards dropped by bats, continuously jumping on pillars to dodge bombs and pebbles from attacking bats, and acquiring the revival balloon from Funky Poo to make subsequent battles easier in the central clear area. The page also showcases the wide array of items and vehicles available to Tiki. Movement units include various balloons: standard, small, revival, large, metal, a bird, and even a UFO, each offering different speeds, maneuverability, or defensive properties like the metal balloon's durability. Appearance items cover offensive weapons like bombs, arrows, lasers, and a powerful magic wand, alongside utility items such as a control enhancer, a time stop, a screen-clearing Book of Death, temporary invincibility, and the valuable kiwi fruit for an extra life. The guide emphasizes how utilizing these items effectively can make confronting enemies much more manageable and enjoyable. This page provides a guide for Stage 24 of the New Zealand story, warning players about specific enemy combinations and strategies. It highlights a double attack threat from rockhopper penguins and pumpkin bats, who coordinate assaults from elevated platforms, launching rocks and explosive projectiles. Mastering platforming on the stage's steps and utilizing mobility items like bird balloons is recommended to avoid their attacks. The guide also issues a crucial warning about Brickleys, which can sneak up and deal damage, especially when you're preoccupied with other enemies like Pucodons or charging porcupines. The key advice is to prioritize watching Brickleys' movements. Additionally, the page includes a helpful reference section detailing several enemy characters, describing their appearance, movement, and unique attack methods, such as the arrow attacks of Pucodon and Funky Poo, the spear throws of Woolens, the physical ramming of Brickleys and porcupines, Nyabot's axe throws from a metal balloon, the rockhopper penguin's rock throwing from a bird balloon, and the pumpkin bat's powerful explosive attacks. This page continues the guide for the New Zealand story, offering expert strategies for tackling challenging areas and bosses. It advises players to seek out safe zones before major encounters, specifically mentioning a spot before the goal where fewer enemies appear, allowing you to prepare. It highlights the importance of obtaining powerful items like the laser beam from enemies like Nyabots, as the upcoming boss is very difficult without enhanced weaponry. The guide provides a specific tactic for handling the dangerous pumpkin bats, suggesting you lure them to the edge of the screen to create openings between their bomb attacks before striking and retreating. The main focus shifts to the final boss, the mech roly-poly or tumbler. Despite its cute appearance, it only attacks with homing missiles, which can be dodged using the level's layout. The crucial weakness is the missile launcher itself. Attacking any other part of the body is useless. Concentrating fire on the launcher, especially with the laser beam, is the key to an easy victory. Finally, the page includes a helpful visual gallery of various enemies encountered throughout the game, detailing their appearance and attack patterns, from fire-spitting turtles and multiplying sparks, to aquatic foes, different types of UFOs, and the invincible character that appears when time runs out. This page continues the intense guide for Kiwi craze, warning players that the war is far from over. From Stage 3 onwards, the levels, including the treacherous ice world and the labyrinthine underground, become significantly more challenging. Survival depends on carefully navigating dangerous areas and saving your lives. The screenshot shows the menacing boss of the underground area, a giant skull surrounded by smaller ones, emphasizing the increased threat level. Below, a feature dives into the world of Parasol Stars. The story of Bubble Bobble 2 ends, presented as a conversation between characters named Bora and Yu. They discuss the game's development by Taito and the surprising fact that this was Taito's first foray into the Sega Mega Drive market. The dialogue is lighthearted, talking about rescuing the character Pew Pew and reacting to the game's mechanics, particularly the endlessly multiplying Boo enemies, a key feature shown in the screenshot alongside the Bo Multiplies text. The feature playfully explores the characters and the game's unique charm. This page kicks off the Gokuraku VG Brothers feature, highlighting a selection of exciting arcade titles from the era, though focusing specifically on Gradius 2i in its title. The article dives into several key games, including Vapor Trail, Dangerous Seed, 1941 Counterattack, and Line of Fire. Vapor Trail is featured prominently, detailing the player's ability to choose from 3 distinct ship types and power up, using items like the Vulcan and Missile. It stresses the importance of strategic dodging and the challenging boss encounters. Dangerous Seed is noted for its unique mechanic where multiple ships can combine. 1941 Counterattack brings a new dimension to the classic aerial shooter series by introducing intense ground combat alongside the air battles. Finally, Line of Fire is praised for its gun game concept, offering immersive 3D visuals, cooperative play, and a realistic machine gun feel, making it a standout in the genre. The feature gives a taste of the diverse and challenging experiences available in arcades. This page dives into a selection of arcade hits. Featured prominently is Pit Fighter, an American street fighting game from 1989 where you choose from 4 characters, Buzz, Ty, Ivan, and Kato, each with their own distinct style. The game is presented as a wild, anything-goes brawling tournament, emphasizing flashy moves and intense, chaotic fights, where the line between winning and losing gets blurred. Next up is MG.P, a motorbike racing game. The reviewer highlights the change pedal feature, which implies manual gear shifting, a welcome addition for players seeking a more realistic racing experience than simple automatic controls. It's all about speed, skillful overtaking, and mastering the timing of your shifts and the power band to leave opponents in the dust. Finally, there's Trio the Punch, Never Forget Me. This one is described as a genuinely peculiar action game. You pick one of 3 characters to navigate its strange world. It's noted for its rarity among recent arcade releases and features a unique roulette mechanic that adds a random element, potentially surprising players with unexpected character level UPS. It's called a straightforward weirdo path for modern gaming. This page features the arcade action game Marvel Land. The story describes Coneyland and the amusement park Marvel Land, once peaceful and managed by warm fairies, being taken over by King Mole of the underworld race. Prince Paco rises to defend the land. The graphics are highlighted for their appealing mid-tone colors and charming characters, including the protagonist Paco and the enemies. The reviewer notes the game's good balance and anticipates its release in arcades in early February. Several helpful items are detailed, found in chests or even trash cans. Among the 6 types, 3 are introduced. Magical shoes reduce sliding, Bunshin, clone, sends a doppelganger forward to attack, and wing increases jump height and slows descent. The layout covers the initial stages of World 1, each featuring a distinct event. World 11 introduces basic controls and ends with a giant dart challenge. World 12 is a thrilling pirate ship ride. World 13 is a fast-paced jet coaster sequence, crucial to the park theme. Finally, World 14 takes you into a castle dungeon culminating in a boss fight, where rapid button presses are advised, followed by a beautiful bonus stage. The game is presented as a solid action title with engaging variety. This page focuses on the classic arcade shooter, Gradius 2i. It kicks off with a summary of the story, detailing how the destructive entity Bacterian has begun its activity once again from the deepest, darkest reaches of space, threatening the universe with immense energy and destruction. To counter this threat, the Big Viper is launched for its final mission. The page then provides a stage-by-stage breakdown, starting with Stage 1, the desert. It notes that the enemies are challenging from the start, especially the moving ground units called Vandar. Stage 2 is described as the Bubble Curtain stage, featuring screens filled with bubbles. The larger bubbles split into 4 smaller ones, and you'll need precise timing to navigate through them. Crucially, some bubbles contain power-up capsules. Finally, Stage 3 is the Volcano stage. The text highlights the iconic Gradius series, Inverted Volcano, and mentions the stage's complexity with elements like underground paths and earthquakes. It notes the stage is particularly long and challenging, and the reviewer finds the sheer scale surprising. The earthquake effect shakes the screen, adding another layer of difficulty, and advises caution regarding falling rocks and strategically placed turrets. Laser weapons are recommended for their effectiveness against the falling rocks. Gradius 2i builds upon previous entries with diverse gameplay elements. Early stages feature enemies like the Sand Dragon, vulnerable at the head, and nutches that split their shots. The Stage 1 boss is a Goliath resembling an antlion, with a central eye as its weak spot. Later, bubble stages introduce enemies encased in bubbles. You must destroy the bubbles before they become vulnerable. The Bubble Eye boss requires you to pop its protective bubble to damage its central eye. A key advancement is the power-up system. It retains the Type Select system with presets, including Force Field and Shield. Edit mode is new, allowing extensive customization of the Vic Viper by combining power-ups like missiles, double, laser, and options for personalized loadouts. Edit mode also features a quirky quote gauge with unique options for different gameplay choices. This page continues the guide for Gradius 2, Gopher no Ambaton, detailing stages 3 through 7. Stage 3 is a large, complex maze made of lava. The difficulty varies depending on the path taken, with the bottom route noted as the easiest. Stage 4 transitions abruptly to a 3D tunnel perspective. There are no enemies, so the focus is solely on navigating the walls and remembering the layout. It's a good opportunity to collect power-ups easily. Stage 5, the Moai stage, features various sizes of Moai heads constantly appearing and disappearing.
The top and bottom of the screen loop, and the moai rotate as they approach. These are obstacles rather than destroyable enemies. Stage 6 dives into a biological theme, with unsettling moving tentacles that block your path. In the latter half, cell walls appear that regenerate quickly, demanding swift action. The attacks become more intense as you progress. Finally, Stage 7 is a volcanic stage, where firewalls cover the top and bottom of the screen. Fireballs continuously appear from different directions throughout the stage. The narrow section just before the boss is highlighted as particularly challenging to pass without taking damage. This page provides further strategic insights into the Gradius series, detailing specific challenges players will encounter. It offers advice on dealing with hazardous falling rocks that impede progress and require destruction. Strategies are also given for the iconic moai heads, including how larger moai drop smaller ones, and the dangers of being trapped or hit by them upon landing. The difficulty of stages featuring rotating moai walls is highlighted, stressing the need to break through them to advance. The formidable Big Core boss is analyzed, focusing on its powerful laser attacks and reflective options, noting its significant defensive strength. Finally, the page offers specific tips for Gradius 2 Eyes, pointing out dangers in early stages like the challenging Natch formations, the multiplying bubble enemies, and destructible walls that can lead to dead ends if navigated incorrectly. This page features the 5th installment of Kik-chan's Let's Try It With a Bang, which is a Gyogyo gambler training course focused on metal games. The article specifically covers strategy for slot, poker, and blackjack, pictured on the page. It stresses the critical need for a calm mental state, calculation of probability, and understanding the game's mechanics, contrasting them with standard TV games controlled by algorithms. The author emphasizes that success requires financial discipline and consistent strategic play, not just relying on luck for a big win. The poker game's WP feature is highlighted as a useful tactic. The ultimate goal is to become proficient in accumulating medals through careful play, targeting machines like slots for quick wins or derby games for larger payouts once a sufficient medal reserve is established. This page continues the dive into medal games, focusing on strategy and specific machines. First up is TVPCKER, a video poker game with the notable feature of including 2 jokers, which the article explains greatly increases the chances of completing powerful hands like 4 of a kind. It delves into strategic considerations, such as knowing when to pursue flush or straight draws based on the specific cards dealt, and emphasizes the importance of the WP minigame as a key method for boosting winnings. Following this is Ireme's Blackjack, designed to replicate the casino experience with a computer dealer. The text covers the fundamentals of blackjack, aiming for 21, and briefly touches upon special rules and plays like splitting pairs and doubling down, noting the game fosters a social atmosphere with multiple players at the machine. Both sections highlight the need for calculated strategy and understanding probability to succeed, rather than relying solely on luck. This page continues exploring the world of metal games, this time focusing on the Sigma-made slot machine, Winner's Choice. This machine offers the chance to strike it rich, with a potential maximum payout of 1,000 medals for lining up 3 sevens on the top line while betting 3 coins. The game features 5 pay lines, including horizontal and diagonal ones. The reviewer notes a specific mechanic where symbols can land just off-center, leading to frustrating near misses. While acknowledging the big win potential, they conclude that it's largely a game of luck, emphasizing the importance of perseverance and managing your medal stash, perhaps earned from other games like the poker or blackjack discussed previously. The article then spotlights Shibuya Game Fantasia, a large game center spread across 3 floors dedicated to metal games. The reviewer describes it as having a genuine casino atmosphere and being popular with young people and couples, also offering regular video games. They highlight the wide variety of machines available, creating a comprehensive metal game experience, though they point out that players under 18 are restricted from playing the metal games. This page features a reader giveaway offering prizes related to popular Sega Mega Drive games and other items. Up for grabs are copies of several titles, including a unique version of Sokoban titled Shijo Seidai no Sokoban, the arcade port Super Real Basketball, the challenging mech shooter Target Earth, Taito's charming platformer, the New Zealand Story, and the flight simulator Air Diver. 3 lucky readers can win each of these game prizes. Additionally, there's a special section dedicated to exclusive Ikaten merchandise. Ikaten, or Ikatu Band Tengoku, was a popular band audition TV show at the time, and they are giving away a variety of goods, including a t-shirt, stickers, cassette tapes, badges, and even a kids tape, with a total of 10 items to be won across different prize types. Finally, the page also highlights an original Godzilla comic from J2C Publishing, featuring a lineup of contributors. 5 copies of this comic are being offered as prizes. Entry details are summarized, mentioning applying via postcard with a questionnaire, and noting the March 8, 1990 deadline. This is a solid list of diverse prizes for fans. This page features the BeepMD race, a review section where new and upcoming Mega Drive titles are evaluated by a panel of 4 expert reviewers using a unique rating system involving dogs and scores out of 10s. The spotlight is on 2 games this issue. First up is Shijo Said no Sokoban, a version of the classic Sokoban puzzle game from Messiah/NCS. Released on January 30th, this title is presented as a comprehensive package with numerous stages. Reviewers provided scores ranging from 5 to 8, with some debating the appeal of a simple puzzle game on the Mega Drive, while others appreciated its complexity. The second game reviewed is Sorcerian, a port of the popular action RPG from Nihon Falcom, released by Sega on February 24th. This version includes multiple scenarios, and aims to capture the feel of the original PC hit. Reviewers scored Sorcerian between 5 and 9. They praised the graphics and sound, but noted some aspects that might feel dated or challenging, particularly for younger players. The panel includes familiar faces like Kik Naito, Olex Koji, and Kaizo Ningen Ichigo, joined by a new reviewer, Jam Oji-san. This section provides readers with concise opinions and ratings, to help them decide on potential purchases, following up on the previous page's giveaway, that included Shijo Seidai no Sokoban. This month's BeepMD race review covers 3 games. Sega's Pat Riley Basketball, released March 2nd, aimed for realism but was criticized for messy gameplay, lacking depth, and unrealistic physics, receiving scores of 5 to 7. Sunsoft's Telephone Mahjong, a mahjong game with modem support, was a solid port, praised by those familiar with the PC version, receiving scores of 6 to 7. Taito's New Zealand Story, released March 3rd, impressed with charming graphics, but its excessive difficulty made it challenging, scoring 7 to 8. Overall, the month's releases were considered weak, with Sorcerian, from a previous review, and New Zealand Story as highlights. Recommendations include prioritizing Sorcerians, considering New Zealand Story for skilled players, and potentially Pat Riley Basketball for sports fans. This page features a comic strip titled MegaDrive X, an end-of-the-century bootleg hero legend. Episode 3, Tremble, the targeted town of Ikebukuro, depicts a strangely hot day in front of Ikebukuro Station, despite it being winter. The heat is due to a massive line of people waiting for the release of the highly popular game Dorag 4, a clear parody of Dragon Quest IV, a massive hit RPG not released on the Mega Drive. The team's captain uses research as an excuse to buy a copy, a joke compounded by a teammate suggesting he uses the same excuse for buying adult magazines. Later that night, the captain is found secretly playing the game, looking completely absorbed and startled by its content. The page is a humorous look at the excitement and dedication surrounding major game releases, even featuring a random aside about the size of a sea otter at Sunshine Aquarium. This page continues, the MegaDrive X comic strip. The captain, seemingly possessed, transforms or is revealed to be something else. A character resembling Ultraman, identified as MegaDrive 9X, appears. He confronts the big camera store manager, revealing him to be an alien disguised as a human, here to sell crazy addictive games and destroy Earthlings' brains. The alien boasts about interesting games, and mentions consoles like the Famicom and PC Engine, but MegaDrive 9X declares he isn't afraid of those. His only fear is the Mega Drive, which the alien seems to acknowledge, with a remark about clever promotion by Sega-sama. Later they discuss a new software title, Final Phantasy Star II, and ask if anyone wants to try it. However, it is revealed that Final Phantasy Star II was actually a bootleg game made by a boy, and playing it is what drove the big camera manager crazy. A warning is given about similar strange software. The panel ends with the manager acting erratically. The bottom text teases the next episode. Next time, MegaDrive's biggest pitch. This page introduces upcoming content changes for the magazine, including new series and articles, with the continuation contingent on reader feedback. The next issue, released March 8th,
will focus on cutting-edge technology for game consoles. Readers are encouraged to complete a survey postcard, evaluating articles, covering demographics, reading habits, and opinions on the magazine. They can also phone in questions. Additionally, the magazine seeks writers and editors residing near Tokyo, over 18, with writing skills, particularly game hardware reviews under 400 characters, and broad interests. The detailed survey explores reader preferences, including desired game releases, and Mega Drive game opinions. The page is visually enhanced with an illustration of a colorful airship. This page introduces the tentative launch of the Techno Soft Gals Club, featuring 4 smiling women holding some of the company's classic Sega Mega Drive titles. Featured prominently are cartridges and boxes for Thunder Force 2, Herzog Zwei, and Thunder Force 2i. Technosoft, known for its high-quality shooters and strategy games, is holding a contest to celebrate this announcement. Readers are invited to participate by answering 2 questions, naming 2 Technosoft Mega Drive games, and suggesting a suitable name for the new club. Those who apply using the coupon from the magazine have a chance to win phone cards and a lottery, with 500 winners selected. This is a cool way for fans to engage directly with the developer and potentially influence the club's identity while snagging a prize. This page features a dynamic preview for the Sega Mega Drive title, Super Real Basketball. The central illustration depicts a powerful dunk shot, emphasizing the game's excitement and impact. Screenshots showcase the gameplay from different camera angles, highlighting smooth animation effects for shots, quick dribbling, and brilliant passes. The text promotes the game's tactical elements in offense and defense, promising an exhilarating experience on the court. Super Real Basketball is scheduled for a late February release at a standard price of 6,000 yen. The page also briefly mentions other upcoming titles like Ghostbusters, Patlabor, and Phantasy Star II. Additionally, it includes information about the Mega Drive console itself, priced at 21,000 yen, and contact details for Sega Enterprises. The right side confirms this is the March 1990 issue of Beep Mega Drive magazine.